All right, what up, everybody? I got some players here, and we are going to be doing a one-shot in my Storm King's Thunder world, which I currently have also on my channel with a couple of other guys. All these guys are new faces to the game, a couple friends, couple new faces to me. Without further ado, though, we are going to jump in, and this one-shot is called Operation Storm Strike. And I gotta mute my YouTube because I can double hear my voice. Give me a second. There we go. My bad. All right. So we start this adventure thousands of feet up in the sky. You're soaring through the air. And as you look down, the ground below you looks more like a canvas or a painting than anything. It's too small. It's too far away. You look down and there's just bright greens and trees. And you start to see that the fall is starting to sweep over these trees. And there's tints of yellow and oranges. And it really does look like more of a painting than anything. As you sit there, soaring through the air, the wind whipping through your majestic dwarven beards that most of you probably are sporting, you see your three companions that you've at least worked with one other time. You are the Skyfallen Dwarves, a special op organization straight out of Mithril Hall under the order of Queen Dagnabbit, and part of the Lord's Alliance. You guys are much more considered a myth than anything. Most people have never seen a Skyfall, and it's believed to be some kind of tale to most. These dwarves that come out of nowhere from entering in any kind of impenetrable fortress. They just have a way of coming in, and when they're done, there's no evidence left of what happened, just destruction. You sit looking at each other, and as you look up, you see that you're sitting in a scaly claw. And as you look up at this claw, you see this beautiful silver scaling. And you think to yourself, when you heard that Queen Dagnabbit had favors in high places, you never imagined that you'd be riding on an adult silver dragon. This is how you're being dropped in. A dragon called Clarion. He apparently owes Queen Dagnabbit a favor, and this isn't necessarily the normal way that you infiltrate places. You're heading to this tower called Sky Reach. There is a cloud giant who is calling herself the Queen of Storms, Velsuna. And she's taking her fortress, the Sky Reach, and soaring it towards Mithril Hall, looking to endanger it. The problem is, it's in the sky. And not only that, but it is surrounded by a treacherous storm that blazes at all times of day. It's said to be completely impenetrable, but that's something that the Skyfallen Dwarves are best at. As you're soaring through the sky, Clarion looks at you all kind of momentarily as his wings flap through the air. Just the power is heard through each stroke. And he speaks to you through messages. And he's basically just recapping everything that you went over, the missions. And he's asking if everyone has any other questions. And he's asking you how you guys plan to get in, blah, blah, blah. And you guys basically go through this kind of memory of what you were told. Velsuna, the Queen of Storms, looks to assault Mithril Hall. You must take down Sky Reach. In order to do so, there is said to be something called the Navigation Orb, which is in the center of the tower, center of the castle. This orb is said to control the castle, and if destroyed, the castle will plummet, therefore destroying the fortress. Also, though, there is some kind of magical entity that is creating this powerful storm. Now, you guys are really good at getting in, but getting out in this circumstance is going to be a problem. If we don't find what's causing this storm and how to stop it, then getting out is going to be very tricky. Now, as you guys are kind of momentarily coming up and you look into this mountain reach, it's called Fell Pass, where you're soaring up to, you see the storm cloud that blazes over top of the mountaintops that reach to the sky. And as you look, the dark clouds streak with lightning like a fierce storm that you've never seen, just complete darkness in a beautiful day. Clarion asks you, I brought you this far, but what do we do now? How do you guys plan to get in? And it's at that point that you all smile to each other and you think back to the first time you guys ever dropped. It's nighttime. But for you, the dark vision has kicked in, and you hear the gentle hum of a propeller. You look down thousands of feet below to the darkness and see little flickers of light, your target, where you must land. There's a cold moisture to the air at this height that the veterans tell you you'll eventually get to. It's at that point everyone looks at each other and nods, and you jump and start plummeting thousands of feet a second into complete and utter darkness. It's at this point the adrenaline kicks in. It's why the Skyfallen do this. It's the adrenaline that never goes away. You're plummeting through the complete darkness faster than what you could imagine, and you just see these tiny flickers of light as you start soaring down. Your instinct is to grab this vial secured to your waist, but your hours of lectures tell you otherwise. Your teachers told you that if you wish to survive, you quaff this at the last second, the moment before your life flashes before your eyes, or else you endanger the group and you endanger yourself. You plummet and you wait and you wait and you wait, and the darkness becomes abruptly apparent that the ground is seconds before you. And it's at that moment when you see the dirt and the earth below you that you quaff this drink, this nasty tasting vial. And as you drink it, your skin dissipates and turns into a mist. And it's seconds before your material body disperses into this fog that you find yourself now in a cloud form, whisking through in the gentle breeze this barbarian encampment. One of the barbarians that's scouting, that you're supposed to take out this encampment, stands up. He hears something. He looks around and inspects this weird mist that has kind of settled in. And it's at that moment that you start to feel yourself being pulled back together. One of the dwarfs before you, one of your commanders, is the first to take his his body form, and he slits the barbarian's throat before even having a chance to realize what's going on. You start to see poofing all the dwarfs coming back into their material body. And it's at that moment you hear the sounds of battle. You're fighting these barbarians, hundreds of them, only a handful of yous. And it's at this point I'm going to get each and every one of you to describe who your character is, what they look like, and how they took out these barbarians. And we're going to start with you, Corey.
All right, so Drac lands and stands stoutly in the face of danger, completely unafraid. Hairier than most dwarves, just covered completely in this thick red fur almost. His beard very well kept and braided as it goes down. Just his bare knuckles as he lays into them, punching one after the other, throwing knees and kicks as he wades right into the thick of a group.
Sweet. And as Drac is smashing barbarian after barbarian with his bare fists, we turn the camera over and we see Runic Scrollhammer. What does he look like, and what is he doing in this raid?
Runic is, the way he looks is about your standard typical dwarf, but the one thing that really stands out about his looks is in his red beard. It's braided, but it's dual braided, and when it goes down, it actually goes back, and it's braided with his hair that is coming down from the back of his head as well. So he's got that kind of going for him. But when he pops out of this mist, arrows just start raining out from him, and then all of a sudden he disappears, and then reappears somewhere else in the fight, shooting more arrows, and then he disappears again, and he is just literally teleporting all around this battlefield, just raining arrows down upon his enemies.
And as volleys of arrows streak through the sky in the night and landing in barbarian after barbarians, handfuls falling at a time, we finally see Craigham Stoneseer. And what does he look like, and what is he doing in this fight? You're on mute, buddy. Can't hear you. Awkward. All right. While Craighammer resets his story being so epic that he can't tell us right now, we go and we see Theron Lightborn. And what is Theron doing, and what does he look like as he fights these barbarians?
Theron, as he drops down in gaseous form, the gas sort of ripples and reforms, and as it reforms into Theron Lightborn, a middle-sized dwarf with naturally white hair tied back in a majestic ponytail, a sharply chiseled beard dominating his somber face, as he holds up his shield emblazoned with the symbol of his god and casts a guiding bolt as streams of light shine down onto his hammer, blasting forth into several of the barbarians, knocking them flat on their backs. With his next move, he moves forward swiftly, touching all the other members of his party, blessing them, giving them the strength to carry on and to succeed.
And as you cast the bless, your hand kind of grazes by Craghammer Stoneseer, who hopefully now has had the divination ability to foresee his mic issues and will be able to speak right now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Oh god, I hate this. Okay, anyways. So Cragam, the first thing you notice about him is he's very young for a dwarf. But at the same time, he seems old. Like he's seen disaster, like he's seen loss, like he's seen death. And as he appears out of this mist, he reached to the side of his head and he grabs a multi-layered monocle that is multifaceted as well, shimmering in the light, which he pulls across his face. And he's instantly able to glimpse multiple realities, multiple opportunities and chances, moments where he takes blows, moments where he deals blows. And he starts working through this, moving to the side deftly as an axe comes crashing down to his side, stepping underneath a swinging blade, while at the same time pressing his hand against this barbarian's chin and unleashing a firebolt into his skull. In the same moment, he disappears, switching reality. He wasn't there. Now he's on the other side of the field, dealing devastation there as well, as he sees reality and time slipping before him and changing.
Very cool. And as this all unfolds, this is literally the matter of seconds. No more than a minute has passed. And this 20-odd squad of dwarves, as soon as they have descended upon these barbarians, this tribe that was said to be a danger to the cities of Waterdeep, the cities of Neverwinter, they're decimated within the matter of a minute. You look around and you just see corpses strewn across this encampment. The tents wrecked, the bodies none moving, just the dwarves. You look around and not one casualty on your side. This was the first time that you four dropped with the sky falling. And you smile, or maybe not, as you think after Clarion asks you how you guys plan to get in, and you just tell him to take you above the cloud, and you'll handle the rest. And it's at this point when you look over into his other call that you see a squad of 4 other dwarves, new recruits, their first time dropping. And you see how nervous they are, and it probably matches most of yours. All dwarves like to brag about how they were never scared of their first drop, but all dwarves also know that they usually piss their pants the first time they drop. And one of the new recruits looks out and kind of yells across, "Hey, Stoneseer, I heard you have the ability to see into the future. Do we win this one?"
And I look over at him, and I think for a second, and I kind of put my monocle down, and I pull it back up. "I don't see that far forward, but I'd quaff your drink 1 second earlier. You're a bit slow." And I turn and look back down at the castle as we approach.
And you now are completely above this storm cloud. You don't see a castle, but you've been told that it's in there and that it's been scouted for weeks now. And the scouts have reported that for whatever reason, a large mass of cloud giants left the tower riding on rocks. Giant birds that the giants used to fight the dragons, and joined up with another floating castle and headed westward toward the Sea of Swords. So it's at this moment that you know that their defenses are weakest. Although how many is in there, you don't fully know. You've heard hundreds. You've heard that the Queen of Storms, Velsuna, has the ability to call a gale storm wind with a moment's notice. But nonetheless, the mission is the mission. Queen Dagnabbit requests that this castle falls, and it's you 8's job to do so. That was good grammar. The moment is now upon you. You're above the storm cloud. You look down. You hear Clarion speaking in your mind. "Well, I've done my part. If you take down that storm cloud, I'll be there to pick you up. If not, then hopefully you dwarves have wings or something. And you hear him kind of snickering to himself, this massive silver dragon. And it's at that moment as you look over to the new recruits and you nod, and one by one, you start plummeting into this dark storm cloud. And as you start falling, the sensation that you once felt before, maybe a few times now, maybe this is your second time dropping, that's up to you. But you start to soar down into this thunder cloud. And as you're looking around, it's just absolute chaos in this storm. Lightning bolts are striking by your faces. The winds are swelling up and instantly taking you guys off course. It's almost impossible to see. And as you look over, you start to see that the 4 other new recruits have been swept off track and that they're getting pushed away by the gale force wind. And it's at that moment, as you're falling, it's only been a couple seconds that you see one of the new recruits' vials, their vial of gaseous form, their only way to successfully drop, get blown right off of his belt and start soaring through the air. It's at this point that we're going to do a skill challenge and see how successfully you guys get down here onto the Sky Reach. Now, if you have never done a skill challenge with me, basically you pick an ability that you are proficient in, a skill, and you say how you're using that skill in order to fix the situation. And then whether you roll high enough or not will determine how well this goes. Since I know Tyler and Chester have done this with me before, I'll let Tyler start it off. And you see instantly the vial of gaseous form be ripped out of this new recruit's pocket, the stupid rookie, the only thing that keeps his life alive, he lost. And he starts basically trying to like dog paddle back down the cloud, but the wind is so strong that he can't do anything about it. He's completely helpless. What do you do?
So first, will you allow me to cast Mage Hand to catch his vial and push it up to him?
That sounds like an Arcana to me. In this kind of weather, it's going to be a pretty serious Arcana check because we're literally talking like borderline tsunami winds kind of.
Okay, that's fine. I'll do Arcana.
Yep.
And that I have +7, so that's a 20 total.
That is definitely a success. And as you grab the vial, you hold it in your mage hand. It kind of just stays there momentarily in the sky through the wind. But now the dwarf has plummeted below. And although mage hand is quick, it's not that quick. And he's already several feet below where this mage hand is now. And somehow we're going to have to get Runic to further help the situation. So go ahead, Runic. You're on mute.
Yep. All right, so Runic is going to use his great insight to try to lead the group, both ours and theirs, and try to avoid the lightning bolts that are coming down and trying to avoid the more pocketed gusts of air to hopefully, avoid all of those.
Sounds good.
Okay, so that's how I roll it. Ooh, 10.
Now, although you're insightful, you're not insightful enough to predict lightning bolts and gusts of wind. And it's as you try to do so that you two are struck by lightning.
Oh, joy.
It's going to hurt. But luckily, you're wearing something rubber, perhaps, or the equivalent of that in a medieval setting. You're not completely unprepared, so you're going to take not full damage from this, luckily, because a lightning bolt full damage is quite ouch. But instead, you take awkward. That didn't roll. Let me try that again. 16 damage.
Okay.
And it's at that moment now that Drac, you see the new recruit without his vial of gaseous form, and you see Runic struck by lightning, which momentarily, it doesn't knock him unconscious, but I imagine getting hit by a bolt of pure lightning kind of leaves you daisy for a bit. So now you see two of your comrades in a kind of bad position right now. What do you do?
So Drac thinks to himself, oh shit, and you'd look over at his companion. He's know his jump before, and he'd say, hey, he'll be fine. And then he tucks himself kind of into like arms at his side and kind of barrels straight down to try and catch up to this rookie that's gone ahead. And he attempts to grab him and then kind of fan out so they can slow the descent to catch back up with the vial. So I guess athletics.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me. Drac is known for being one of the most aerodynamic of dwarfs, so maybe he'll be able to pull this off.
21.
21 is definitely enough so that you tuck yourself in the format that you've somehow taught yourself to do, which pierces air quicker than any dwarf has ever found the way to do. And within seconds, you're like a missile dropping through the sky, and you're below the dwarf that is kind of falling, free falling without his vial. And then you spread your arms out and momentarily catch him. That's 2 successes and 1 fail. Now the situation falls to Theron, who... The situation still is pretty precarious. What do you wish to do? As you see Runic kind of falling through the sky, momentarily dazed, and you still have the fact that the gaseous form vial is not with the new recruit.
But Drax has reached the new recruit.
Yes, he has.
Okay. I'm going to let Drax handle the situation with the new recruit. And to the dazed member, I will fly as a aerodynamic dwarf. I kind of angle my body so that the wind carries me over to him with my athletic skill.
All right.
And
now, the one thing I didn't mention about the skill challenge is once one person uses a skill, it can't be used again for the rest of the encounter.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll fall back on my backwards plan, which is the intimidate skill.
All right.
With my stern demeanor, I shout out to the Drax and the fresh recruit in my best drill instructor voice and say, I say, calm down, spread yourselves out, get back up to that vial. Spreading yourselves out will make you go up in the air. It'll make you fall slower. That's my intimidate skill.
I like it. Intimidate away.
All right, I'm intimidating. Did I tell you how imposing I am? Okay, so I got a 21.
You sounded rather imposing, and you strike a chord with Drac and the new recruit as they realize that if they don't get their shit together, that they are going to probably smush below the ground below. So it's with your commands that you do straighten them out. And now we just need one more check to get this vial to the new recruit. So who wants to take it? Who has something that they can think of to... Go ahead.
So I'm going to use insight Kragam is of the opinion that all magic has a pattern.
Now,
and this is a magical storm.
Chester already used insight.
So we already used insight? That's fine. I have other things then. I will use perception then.
All right.
Okay, so he's of the belief that all magic has a pattern. Yeah, religion. I'm going to preach to the storm. So he slides his monocle over his eye, and I'm looking for the pattern to try and, I'm going to, cock back the mage hand and hurl it into the wind down towards him.
All right. Yeah, they're quite far down, so it's going to take a perception check in this crazy storm to see them. But if you can line up a good view, maybe you'll be able to get it to them.
Oh, baby. That is a 19 on the die. So that is a 24, baby.
You see them like a dot now. They've quickly plummeted below you, but you do. And it's with that you think with your arcane knowledge, whatever connects you to this mage hand, and you huck it. And the vial starts plummeting below.
Yeah, I think I almost read the possibilities, the possible ways that I can throw it into the storm. And I see it veering off course one way, veering off another, and then I see the perfect throw. And the wind just catches it and propels it right down into this guy's hand.
Absolutely. And he catches it, and then he looks at Drac with a moment of just pure relief. He thought for sure that he was going to die. And it's at that moment that you securely fashion that vial back on him, and you give him a once-over to make sure that he's good and ready to go, and then you let go like a mother bird giving away its baby bird to the wind. You set the recruit free as he starts soaring again more competently, and it's after that you guys successfully complete the skill challenge. You break through this treacherous storm cloud and see the beauty that is Skyreach. It is this absolutely impressive edifice, this castle that somehow is in the clouds. And as you look, it's completely walled, and there's multi-tiers to it, with the center kind of having this high peak that reaches up into the highest peaks of the storm. And around it are these tiered walls that kind of set a defensive position. Basically, if you remember the picture from the interest post, just this massive tower in the clouds, that's what you guys start to see as you fall. And seconds ago, it was treacherous and stormy. As you break through this wall of storm, it's absolutely beautiful in here. It almost seems to shimmer somehow. And the ground below is made of cloud. And it's at that moment that you don't really know how you're going to land, but that's the only land that you technically see is this cloud. So you start to steer towards it. And as you look at the towers themselves, they have like this kind of white, almost glossy texture to them of some kind of stone that you don't necessarily recognize. Nonetheless, you start to steer down, and it's seconds before you hit the ground that you see standing on a battlement these two massive figures, at least 20 feet tall from the seconds that you got to look at them. 2 stories, these gray-skinned figures wearing modified massive leather armor. And as I look over at this defensive perch on top of the wall, you see one of them pointing at all 8 of you. And you see another one reach down below the wall into a bag. At which out point, he pulls out a boulder in one hand that is literally double the size of you. And like a professional baseball pitcher, he winds this thing up, doing a couple of those swirly arms to get the extra power to it, and chucks the fastball right at Craighammer. Let's see if it hits. So, I forgot to add their modifier, but give me a second here, sorry. I don't think it's going to hit you regardless. Maybe it is, actually. So, 14, I think that's a hit, right?
AC 16, baby.
Oh, AC 16. Somehow, you see it coming. You've envisioned this before, I guess, a moment. You don't really, you see multiple paths into the future. Time is a finicky thing. You don't necessarily see one linear future. There's multiple hundreds of thousands of possibilities. And that's at one point in your life, you get these moments of deja vu that you remember, like dodging a giant rock, like soaring through the air, and you're just stretching your arms out, and you get the feeling to do so. And as you do, you kind of catch the wind and it pulls you up. And then it's at that second that the boulder that is double the size of you, probably like 200 pounds, soars by you with immense power behind it. Getting hit would have sucked. It's at this point.
I give him the most profane like hand gesture I know for giants.
Absolutely. And it's at that point, as you're soaring down, the ground quickly coming upon you, you know that you have to quaff your gaseous form potions, all of you. I'm assuming everyone does so.
Oh yeah, with a flourish.
Arguments here.
Exactly.
So what you find yourself in where you landed is basically like, I don't know the actual technical name for this, but there's the main entranceway, and then kind of like this walled area to which another, like almost like a lobby of a castle, I guess, but defended by walls on all sides. And as you land in this courtyard, we're going to call it, because that's probably what the technical name of it is, you look up in your gaseous form. You know that you only have a second or two before you're pulled back into material form. It's only a temporary gaseous form. You see the two giants pointing and looking. One of them pulls out a big pair of binoculars and is like scanning, and you hear them saying, "Where did they go?" You have maybe an action at best before they're upon you.
Can we communicate in gaseous form?
No.
Ooh.
Unless you have like some kind of telepathic means.
Well, what do we see around the courtyard? Is there any place to hide or things like that?
We'll say that the first thing that you notice that's rather peculiar is that the ground is made of complete cloud. Although, for some reason, as you go to like, I guess, because in gaseous form you can usually coast through things. As you try to coast through the ground, you realize that this cloud is complete solid cloud for some reason, and you'll know that you'll be able to stand on it. As you look around, there's maybe the courtyard itself as a means for basically like to make sure that no sketchy people are getting through the main. There's not a whole lot of defense. You maybe see like two trees that are more scenic than probably a good means of defense. You suspected a boulder would basically plow over the tree with no problem. As you also look around, you would see that there is large ballistics on top of the walls that are giant in size. But those are probably, like, we're going to say 80 feet up. These walls are absolutely massive.
Gotcha. So there's probably no way we could get to it. Do I see the others?
You do see gaseous forms of 7 other people.
Okay. I move towards the other ones, but not close enough. I move to maybe within 10 feet of the nearest person.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to do something fancy? Now, the first thing that also, after the cloud being solid, catches your attention, you realize the immense size of this castle. You've been in castles before, and obviously their grandeur in their architect. But this castle is proportioned to a giant. So the ballistics that you see 80 feet above on these absolutely towering walls are like the size of buildings. The double doors that lead into the castle's main courtyard is absolutely enormous.
You said, well, actually, let me ask this. Is there any sort of cover that we can get behind, or at least can I get behind?
You don't really think so. This is basically like an area where they would make sure that no one's doing something sketchy as they try to get in. So kind of like a scanning area.
Okay, but you did say that there was the tree there?
Yes. A tree that definitely 100% looks like it would survive a 250-pound rock chucked at it.
Would not survive.
It's not necessarily like using it for cover. It's more of using it to hide. And but how far away is the tree from the rest of the group, kind of deal?
Now, you move quite slowly in gaseous form. That's the one drawback to it. You literally only have 10 feet of movement, so you can use an action to do 20 feet. The tree, I will give you, if you use a dash action, I'll say that you can get behind said tree.
Yeah, but I was planning on getting up in said tree, but I needed more than I need more of my action basically to do anything like that, or for what I have planned. I think I'm just gonna prepare myself for combat, getting ready.
All right.
So I'm just gonna kind of chill in the back, letting my other companions, who I can't quite remember at this point if they're melee, but I'm gonna be pulling out my short bow, getting ready. Or no, I'm in gaseous form. Never mind, I can't do any of that.
Yeah,
but I will
wait to unmissed.
Yeah, I will focus my mind to do one of my disciplines.
All right.
That's what I will do, since that's the only thing I can really do.
Sounds good. What about Drac and Craigham?
All right, so Drac has the unfortunate luck of being right in the center of the room. And so he realizes that he has no way of fighting them right now at that range. So he just prepares to dodge and wait until they come to him.
Smart. Dodge action readied. And what about you, Craigham?
So I have an idea. You said that this all looks like cloud in the center of this area, right?
The ground is made of definite cloud, yes.
In the exact moment I appear, I'm going to cast Fog Cloud.
All right.
And I'm going to make it so it's only about 5 feet tall, so there's not a noticeable shift in the size of the courtyard, but tall enough that it covers all of us.
And what is the range on that? Or the radius?
So it's a 20-foot radius.
Yeah, that's super good.
But if you'll allow me to, I want to shape it, though, so it's just like a flat layer of maybe like 6 feet tall.
That's super cool.
So I almost imagine that as we land, I kind of like look up and I see them like scanning, and I feel like this monocle, which is kind of like this magical item for me, still is able to glimpse these possible realities. And so what I do is I kneel down, I put my hand into the cloud, and I feel the arcane energy there. And what I do is I play with its history, and instead I make it as if they built this area 6 feet taller, but not as solid. So like I'm playing with the history of the timeline of this thing, and as we appear, it goes and goes 6 feet taller right as we appear.
Absolutely. So now you guys are all heavily obscured, and we will roll initiative. Go ahead if you're ready, Runic. Tell me what you got. 15. Drac.
11.
Craigham,
14.
14, and Theron.
It's going to be 13.
13. All right. So all of you are able to act before the giants. So we don't necessarily have to go in initiative order in this point. You see the recruits, they are actually the first to go. And as they materialize, they like cover their heads because they just think that they're going to get bowled over in rocks. But then as they look, they see that they're covered in clouds. And then you hear them whisper like, oh, that was good thinking. Who did that? To which any of you four can do whatever you want now. Go ahead, anybody.
I whisper, it wasn't me.
So Drac runs to the forefront of the fog cloud and kind of like sticks his head out so he can see. And he's looking at this, like, I guess it's a gate that's in front of him. And so he's trying to figure out how he and everyone else can get through it.
It's a solid question. You don't know how heavy the thing is, but in comparison to dwarf units, which basically the way dwarfs measure things in my mind is how many dwarfs tall it is. This thing is like at least 30 to 40 dwarfs tall. So good question of how you're going to get it open.
So at this point, are we pretty confident that the giants can't see us?
You see that they're looking around. You can give me a perception check if you want to see if they do notice you. It won't cost you your action.
All right, I will check it. I don't think I'm proficient, but it's going to be a wisdom check, right?
Yes.
Cool. Oh. And roll it. And I got a 17.
17. So you notice that they're scanning the area, and let me actually just do a perception check for them at disadvantage because they're heavily obscured. And you notice that they don't really seem to know. You hear one of them like, basically, they're too far away to actually hear, but it's clear by their body language that they don't know where you got, and that one's suggesting just to throw rocks everywhere until you hit them.
I imagine that one of them is like, did we get him?
Yeah.
I didn't see him. I thought you missed? No, I couldn't have missed.
Exactly. You were just seeing things.
Yeah.
No, I swear, there was 8 dwarfs soaring through the sky.
Okay, where's our, which one is our wizard dude? What's his name again?
Craigham is the divination, and Runic
Is it Crackham or Craigham?
Crackham.
Crackham. Okay. Well, Crackham. I walk over to Crackham quietly, perhaps, and I hope it's quiet on the clouds. And then I whisper to him. I say, "A good job on the cloud. Do you have anything that could move this door or give us passage through?"
So I would look at the door. Does it look like it's sealed magically?
You are, I'm going to say, in this circumstance, about 60 feet away. So it's hard to get a vibe from that distance. If you were to definitely go up to the door, you could probably get a sense of it. But
Okay.
You don't necessarily know.
Oh,
You're a good distance from the door itself.
I am curious. How big is this obscuring cloud? Like, we know it's big enough to cover us, but
It's
how
a
long
20 foot radius, so 40 feet in diameter.
Gotcha. And quick question is, how long does it last?
Its concentration, I believe it lasts for up to an hour, yeah.
Okay, so we're pretty much in this cloud for a bit until the giants get bored and start flinging rocks.
Yeah, so what I want to do so I can approach this door then, because I've got an idea. Because if it's magical, I can definitely open it.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Minor Illusion on one of the trees I can see, and I'm going to make it look like there's a dwarf standing behind it.
Perfect.
And so I want to direct their attention there, and then I'm going to dash action and sprint to the door itself
Okay.
so I can inspect it.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to do anything before that goes off?
So Drac yells out to the group, "All right, here's the plan. We all stand next to the door. When they throw rocks at us, we jump out of the way and it'll break it down, huh?"
I put my hand on my face.
As I run past him, I slap him solidly across the face to get him to shut up.
And it's at that moment that your minor illusion goes off, and you see the voice kind of rains out, and one of the giants are like, "See, I heard something." And then they look over at the tree. There, the dwarf, get it! And he winds up and just hucks this massive rock at this tree that the dwarf is like hiding behind. But obviously its fat, plump kind of illusion that the dwarf has is like by no means secured by this tree. And the rock just absolutely destroys the tree and goes right through the dwarven minor image. But it's at that moment that you guys have a moment to sprint.
I follow the madman who yelled.
All right. And is everybody else running out towards the door?
How far is the door from the cloud?
60 feet.
The absolute madman.
20. Yeah, I'm gonna follow, but I'm gonna actually switch my focus to the chameleon.
Okay.
And basically it gives me advantage on stealth checks, and I'm gonna kind of split off away from the group just a little bit, probably about 10-15 feet, so that way I can hopefully get into a better stealth cover.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna, like, once I kind of get to the door, I'm actually gonna be looking on the ramparts and basically kind of trying to be the scout and just kind of make sure that we're being covered.
All right. So you guys are all able to make it to the door, but with Drax yelling, it puts them at enough alert that they've seen you going. They didn't have enough time to react. So you get to the door, and Tyler, you said you had a way to like determine if it's magic or whatnot, and you know that they're like, that one over there, we got it, because the rock is like now basically sitting on top of where, like, a crater of where the minor illusion once was. But there's more. They're like little rats. Let's get them. And so you know you have like seconds to like, and as you get up to this door, it's made of solid like iron, and there's these little basically nubs going around the perimeter of it all the way up. And as you look about 30 feet up is where the handle would be, but the handle is like this giant circular knocker that you would assume would take all of you to like swing on if you could somehow get up there and open it. What do you got going on?
Curious, so is the door, like, does it go all the way to the top and there's a way over, or is it closed?
It's a solid closed door.
Okay, and the wall itself, that goes up for hundreds of feet?
Yes, we'll say that. Probably around 100 to 80 feet is the wall itself that you guys are surrounded in.
Gotcha. That's 10 stories. I don't think I can throw a grappling hook that far. Sorry, guys.
You also hear the shuffling above you, because where the giants were standing was basically atop of where this door is on a battlement or whatever. And as you hear them shuffle around, it's like booms of thunder, their footsteps.
So can I check the door to see if it's magically locked?
Yes, they just arcane checking, or?
Yeah, I guess it'd just be Arcana.
Yeah, so go ahead and give that a shot.
Woo! 19 on the die, 26.
So Arcana doesn't give you the ability to actually necessarily feel magic, but as you're looking at the door, you don't see any kind of runes or etchings that would suggest that it's magically locked.
Okay. Interesting. Is there any sort of sign that there's like a keyhole or something where it would be locked?
You don't see, no. It just looks like there's these two giant knockers on each side that if you could reach and swing, you may be able to get in.
Yeah, maybe it's not even locked. Maybe we just have to open it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, like, I'd look over at you and say there doesn't appear to be any magical locks on this door, and I don't see a keyhole. So perhaps we just push it open.
The new recruits are like, fuck it, push! And then all four of them start to like push on this door.
Okay, I'd start pushing too.
I also add my strength.
Yes, so anyone that wants to roll an athletics check?
I also cast Bless on the 3 people that are closest to me, which should give them an extra D4 on their pushing ability.
I'm not going to push. I'm actually going to keep doing what I'm doing and keeping a lookout. Hopefully no more giants will show up, and we just have to deal with these two.
All right, so
and I got a 10.
You're looking for a DC 25 to push this thing open.
Oh, even if we're all together?
Yes.
Oh, dang. Do we get extra 2 bonus for each person pushing?
Yeah, I'll let you roll at advantage. I'll say that
cool.
you're all technically helping, so everyone can roll at advantage.
All right,
Okay. Oh boy. 25, boys. Come on, 25.
Still 10.
Impressive.
Okay. So that means, okay, so that's a 16 on the die, 4 on the D4, 20. I got a 25.
Awesome.
Hey, he did it through the
Hey.
The madman.
through all 8 of you pushing this absolutely massive door. It starts to creak open, and you just hear as you do so the groan of such a heavy door. You can just feel the weight of it. It's probably multiple tons. I don't really know what like the lift push capacity of this thing is, but this door is definitely pushing the boundaries of what 8 dwarves should be able to push. You push it open, and it opens up into this massive courtyard. I'm just actually going to screen share because I have like kind of a tactical map, so I'm just going to quickly screen share. We're not going to use it for any tactical purpose, but just to kind of give you idea of what we're looking at. So if you look on my screen, you guys came from this like basically little courtyard, and up here is where the giants were standing. You push through the main and kind of open into this area. So to your left, you see that the walls kind of run around the entire perimeter. Leftward, there's this absolutely massive staircase heading up to where the wall is, so the Overwatch. In front of you are these giant-looking stables. And then obviously in the center, basically above, I don't want to scroll because you'll see through my fog of war, is this towering, massive building that spires up all the way to like where the storm cloud is. And then off to the right is what seems like more stables and trebuchets and whatnot. Make sense?
I see.
And basically where the wall and the stairs are, you would see that there's kind of like an underlying arch or an arch that you could walk through. And that's where the main entranceway of this massive tower looks like. But it's at that moment as you take all this in, and the courtyard itself, let me just actually measure how big it is because I do have that figured out. So from the door to the stables, which is basically directly in front of you, is 90 feet. So, and then in width or whatever, from staircase to all the way right is 400 feet. So this is an absolutely massive 100 by 400 feet courtyard that you're in. And it's at that moment, as you push the doors in and you look and you think of where you're going to run, you're flashing back to what your mission is: destroy the navigational orb and figure out what is causing this storm so that you guys can get back out, because you only have one gaseous form vial. So you need some other means, Clarion, hopefully. Usually the way you normally do it is when you grade in, getting back out isn't normally of the utmost important, but if you do, the Skyfall and dwarves have airships. But it was figured that the dragon was needed for this. But if you can take down the storm, the dragon can come in and help. But if you can't take down the storm, then you have no way out, and you're inevitably doomed. And it's at that moment, as you're thinking, like, what do I do? All these things are kind of flashing through your mind, that you hear 2 absolutely enormous sounding thuds. And as you look behind you, 2 cloud giants stand towering above you, at least 20 feet tall. You see them crack their knuckles and smile and say, "We're gonna squish you, tiny rat dwarfs." One pulls out an absolutely massive morning star.
Our warriors have engaged the enemies.
Exactly. And it's at that moment that they charge in.
I throw a recruit at them.
Oh, not Recruitus, my favorite.
I was kind of thinking
recruit.
the same thing.
So
Okay.
one of the recruits are what they do go for first, because you guys said that. And the recruits don't have the best AC. Let me actually make sure before I cheese you. Yeah, they definitely get in through. And one
Save
recruit
the younglings.
takes a total of 26 damage and is basically mangled in one hit. Now, giants have multi-attack, so he's going to swing again as this recruit gets pounded into the ground. And he hits again. And now the recruit is nothing more than a pile of, or a blur of mud and blood and cloud. I guess not mud, but a puddle, as he's absolutely smashed in 2 hits. The other giant looks at you, and he has a rock in his hand, and he's going to huck it at you, Theron. He rolls a 21 to hit. And the rock plummets into you for, oh my god,
Rocks, my only weakness.
30 damage.
My body, my beautiful body.
The rock bowls over you, and basically like a bowling ball hitting a bunch of pins. You're just absolutely like knocked over to the ground. Your body is dug into the clouds, and the rock just rolls over you into the courtyard. You guys are back up now.
I got myself a solid chunk taken out. I'm at 42. I could definitely need a little healing from myself now.
We'll go in actual initiative order now. The guards look basically horror-stricken, so they're not going to act until you guys tell them what to do. But that puts Runic up first.
Okay. Well, I'm actually going to look at the rest of the group, and I'm going to send a quick message to everyone's mind asking, are we staying to fight or are we running? And this is all in your heads, by the way. This message.
Can I, as a so it maybe won't take an action, but can I respond telepathically or no?
Yeah, you can talk back.
Okay, so I respond telepathically and say, these giants, you know, we got short, stubby legs. There's no way we can run away from them unless you've got some sort of magic spell that I don't know about.
And you all remember at this point that Queen Dagnabbit did not send you to your death without gifts and treasures. You each have 2 potions of, I believe, what's the step better than regular? I think it's greater.
Yeah, greater healing potion. There's minor and greater.
Yeah, so you have 2 greater, and each of you either have a giant slaying weapon or 1 uncommon magic item. So you know that you're going to at least be able to hit these guys decently. So yeah, up to you.
I will also throw in, well, I can cloak 3 of us, but sadly, I cannot do anything for the 4th. So unless that the 4th has a way of hiding himself, I can get 3 of us away. Are we fleeing or fighting?
Are you speaking telepathically to everybody?
Yeah.
The recruits instantly say, pick us 3.
Take those 3 for what?
In my hands.
I should say, or I should have clarified, I'm speaking to everyone in our group.
The recruits say that they hear that.
Okay.
We're recruits. Take pity. We didn't sign up for this.
I telepathically talk to them. I say, you're recruits, so fucking act like it and do some work. I say, you were recruited in the army to die for your queen if necessary. And by God, today is a good day to die.
All right, well, to get the show on the road, I'm going to go ahead and just start the action, I guess. First off, I'm going to spend 5 side points and activate an ability called Faithful Archer, which basically lets me attack twice. And then I'm going to move back 25 feet. Like when we did our quick examination of this courtyard, I guess,
yep.
Or courtyard part 2, was there any more giants that we saw, or just the 2 that's after us right now?
From what you saw, and as you look around, it's completely empty.
Okay. Then, yeah, I'm going to move back as well and then fire 2 shots into...
Go ahead.
I'm going to say that the giant on the left, just to make things...
All right. So we'll say Morningstar Giant and so far Rock Giant. So which one do you want? Morningstar?
I'm going to do the Rock Giant because I don't like him throwing rocks.
All right. Yeah, those rocks did not seem to feel too good to Theron.
All right, so here's the first attack, which will be a 20, not natural.
Definitely hit your marks 14 on these guys. They're huge and they hit hard, but they're not necessarily defended well.
And then a 1. So
yeah, that's not so pretty.
I already used the bonus action, so I can't do that. So he's just going to take some damage.
Now, did you take a giant slaying weapon, or did you take an uncommon item?
Yeah, I took the giant slaying.
All right. So you do an additional 2d6, and it has to make a save or be knocked prone by the magical powers of this.
All right, so he'll take 9 points of damage, or do you need them separate?
Nope. So a total of 9?
Yep.
All right, and he did fail his save. So actually, you could go ahead and describe. Basically, this magic weapon is enchanted with giant slaying. So when you do hit, it's just extra effective. So describe what a small bow arrow from a dwarf would look like hitting a giant and then absolutely blowing him away and knocking him prone.
Not realizing the power behind this weapon, Runic actually shoots the giant like square in the forehead, and it just flings him backwards, making his second shot where if he would have remained still, would have hit him almost in the exact same spot. But because he got blown back, it soars right past him, and with such force, he gets. I'm assuming the rock giant was behind the Morning Star.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I'm going to say he gets flown back, and when he does, he throws the rock that he was holding up in the air, and it goes up in the air just a little bit, and it comes back down on top of him.
Yep.
Not
and
necessarily far enough to where it would hurt him, but
he looks like someone who's caught in like a bench press, but heavily underestimated how much he could lift. So he's just like. So next up, we have Craigham.
Okay, so I watched this one recruit just get pounded into pulp, and then I kind of just shake my head, and again, this monocle just is pulled down over my eye, and I look over at Drac, and I slap him on the shoulder, and what I'm doing is I'm casting haste.
Oh,
so what this does is you're living double time, basically. Your AC goes up by +2. You have advantage on dexterity saving throws. You gain an additional action on each of your turns for 1 minute, as long as I maintain concentration. This action will be used to do dash, disengage, hide, or to use an object, or you could do one more attack.
Super cool.
So basically, your body, like, you become a blur. It's almost like you're the Flash. Like, you're living in double time right now. And time is passing slower around you. You're like on Over the Hedge, if anyone's seen the movie when Hammy takes the energy drink, that's what's like to you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I slap you on the shoulder and you start living in double time. And then I'm gonna step back and get out of the reach so I can maintain this concentration.
Absolutely. And as like the universe's knowledge is being bestowed upon Drac in this like moment of surge of absolute power and energy and speed, Theron gets a second to act because he's next in the initiative, and then like a rocket, Drac is going to take off.
All right. So after the chunk of boulder kind of bowls me over, I actually land on my feet. From that boulder throw. It knocked me so far over that I rotated and was back on my feet, kind of dizzy, but also able to act. So I say a quick prayer, a quick thank you, and I cast Cure Wounds on myself. Healing me for 1d8 plus my spell caster, spell attack plus 6 plus an additional, what is it? Should be, yes, 2 plus 6 more. So that's okay. Sorry, yeah. No, spell level refers to the actual level of the spell, right?
Yes. Maybe.
Okay. Well, let's decide which one it is because I want to heal a lot.
Let me look it up real quick.
All right.
it's what you're casting it at, I believe.
Okay, so I'm casting it as a first level spell. So that would be just 1 then. So that'd be 1d8 plus 9 essentially HP.
Yep.
So let me roll that real quick.
1d8. Either way, you're getting at least 10 hit points.
Exactly.
Back,
so let's see. It's 9, so that's 12. So I regain 12 hit points. So I look a little worse for wear, but I'm not as mangled as that recruit. I cast a single tear of pity flows down my cheek for that recruit. I knew him like a brother. Recruitius. And that's my turn. Oh, let's see. I move close to I move close to the wizard man.
Okay.
Cool.
You position yourself near Craighammer, and it's at that moment as the energy is surging through you, Jack.
Let's fuck this shit up! As he screams and uses a bonus action to cast Divine Favor. Ah! As his hands start to emanate this radiant light. You can't even see him anymore as he starts to run towards this giant that's been knocked down by the arrows and its own rock. As he starts to step off the ground and he begins flying. No, he's running through the air as his foot steps down kind of amidst this flat plane of light, almost as if he's jumping from stone to stone. As he runs towards this thing, attacking with all of his might.
And that's the one that's prone, so it's at advantage. You said, right?
Yeah. What was I looking for? 14?
Yes.
Jeez, that's 6. Damn, that one's not.
Oh, don't forget you have bless on you also. You have a D4.
And you're at advantage.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, that one hits then. That one hits. And a crit on the last one. Perfect.
Hey.
So he runs at this dude and then just just lays into him. And I'm going to go ahead and smite on that last hit too.
Yeah, so you don't do. And you have a giant slaying weapon, right?
No, I took the winged boots of flying.
Okay, gotcha. That's going to be a nasty crit.
15 plus 24. 24. That's 11 is 35. 35 and 7 is 42.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
32 plus 8 is 57 damage. It's just
I imagine you punch him like 100 times in like a split second.
This light just shines off from each blast.
He's like gum Gatling gun.
Exactly. Now, as you absolutely blast into this guy with the fury of whatever god and whatever the hell else that was, you just absolutely pummel him. But although he is pretty injured, he is by no means out of it. And it's at that point that the recruits see your bravery, and they throw caution to the wind, and the 3 of them charge in, and those 3 are also going to try to hit. And they do so at advantage. That one actually missed, so advantage. No, they sucky-ass recruits miss. And so, yeah, only 1 recruit gets through at advantage. You guys picked the B team for sure. He hits him for a whopping 3 more damage in comparison to what Drac just did. It is a little lackluster, we'll say. It's at that point, though, that the giant with the rock on the ground basically pulls the rock over, and he looks over to his Morningstar companion and says, "These rats are more than we bargained for. Tell the queen, go now." And
don't let them escape.
it's at that point that the one Morningstar giant who had a smirk on his face, like he thought he was going to absolutely crush you guys. And as he dropped down, he was talking about how he's never let one single rodent slip through his watch in the 100 years that he's watched. But then as he's seen Drac and you guys absolutely just pummel this guy, a little bow through the giant soaring across the courtyard, and then Drac lands into it and starts absolutely smashing into this giant's ribcage. The smirk is quickly removed, and the giant realizes that you guys are no average dwarfs. And it's at that moment that he disengages and starts running through the courtyard. Now, giants are pretty fast in comparison, but by no means does he get out of your range in one dash movement. So you guys can see him, but he seems like he's heading towards the main entranceway.
We get opportunity attacks as he runs past us.
He disengaged.
Oh, he took disengage action.
Yeah, he's not a dummy. However, the other giant that is basically prone right now is going to start to stand up. Now, as you're basically finishing your flurry, Drac, I'll give you the option to say whether you want to hang on as this guy starts to stand up, or if you're going to jump off.
I'll hang on. Let's go for it.
All right, so that's a strength contest, or dex, because you're technically it's a grapple, and he has to go strength.
All right.
He rolled an 18, which is actually surprisingly low for what he can roll.
19 on the dice.
You hang on for dear life. It's at that moment that he's basically trying to shake you off, and he doesn't want to pull out his Morningstar and whack himself with it, so he's just going to use his bare hand, at which point he swings for a 25 to hit. But luckily, being his bare hand, it's not going to be the same damage as a Morning Star. So you got that going for you. And that is a total of 11 damage. And then give me another strength save to see if you... actually, you can choose whether you want to hang on or not. He's going to swing again if you don't hang on.
I'm going to hang on.
You're going to hang on?
Yeah.
He winds up again, and this time rolls a 23 to hit and hits you for, this time, only 8 damage. Luckily, with you hanging on and him not using his Morning Star, you know that it's hurting a lot less. So you have that going for you. Now that puts us up to the top of the initiative. Runic, you're back up. One giant is running away to go get others, apparently, which might not be the best circumstance. And one giant is currently punching himself because Drac won't let go of him.
How far away is the giant running away?
For some reason, as per Raw, giants don't actually have any extra, or they have 40 speed, so he's 80 feet away. He is actually only 40 feet away. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's even better.
Yeah.
So I would like for him to make a wisdom saving throw.
He will do that. Now, Cloud Giants are pretty wise, but we'll see how well he rolls. I didn't mean to roll twice there. He only rolled a 10. He rolled a... Yeah, we're pretty bad.
I'm pretty sure my DC is higher than that.
Yeah. It almost definitely has to be unless
I
you dumped out of your wisdom.
Yeah. What's going to happen, though, is... Actually, this is what's going to happen. Runic is going to take an arrow. He has this quiver, and when you guys look at it, it's empty. It doesn't look like there's anything there, but he reaches back and pulls out an invisible arrow, from what you guys understand. He puts it in his bow, and he points it at this giant that's running away, and he fires this invisible arrow, and it goes, and as soon as it hits this giant, the giant is teleported to where Runic is, and Runic is now where the giant was. So they literally swap spaces.
Dang, son. That's super cool. So now there is a cloud giant standing basically... You're pretty close, right? So he's like running away.
Please have him run off the edge of the cloud.
Who? The cloud giant?
Yeah, because they swap places.
Yeah, where were you standing? Were there you were standing near the edge.
No, I wasn't standing on the edge. I was a little bit, I guess I would say, I was 20 feet away from the door because that's where we're fighting, or they were fighting.
He was actually like fairly close to you guys. So now the cloud giant is basically 25 feet away from you guys again, but not running away. So he's on the other side of the wall. That would have been hilarious if you would have like ran off the side of the cliff and shot him, though. I would have loved that.
What else am I going to do? Oh, I should have done that first. Oh, well. Whoa. Making all sorts of noise over here, man. That's all I can do, I think.
So he's really confused, this giant, because he thought he was getting away. But then basically as he's running, I'm going to imagine that he was still like has his momentum. And as he swaps, he basically runs and face plants right into the side of the wall. And he's just like, oh, what the? And he's looking around and he sees you guys, you pesky rodents. To which Craigham is now up.
So, seeing that this has just barely happened, that they've swapped places basically, give me 1 second to check the spell.
Check it, son. Check it right out.
So, these steps, how sturdy do these, like, this entryway, how sturdy does it look?
Very, we'll say. This is, Cloud Giant's architecture is nothing to slouch at, even for a dwarf.
Okay, well, I don't think that's...
It's a little more elegant, I guess, or not necessarily elegant, but more sleek, I guess we'll say, but this castle is definitely well kept.
Okay, so what I'm going to do... So you said that the two giants are about 20 feet away from each other?
Yeah, it works for me if it works for you.
Okay, cool.
Sure.
So again, I reach into the cloud and I touch the architecture, the creation of this place. I feel the history of this castle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Erupting Earth
Okay.
between these two giants. And what I'm doing is I'm making this area between them almost as if when they were building this place, somebody accidentally left like a keg of explosive powder beneath here. They actually buried it up. And I'm making it explode in this area. And it's going to make it difficult terrain. So when the giant tries to run again, it's going to make his movement speed halved. But they both are also going to have to make a dexterity saving throw, both giants.
Both giants. All right. Going for one right now. He rolled a nat 1.
Question mark.
And
No, not you, because it's anyone who's like standing near it.
so one giant nat 1, then one giant 18.
Okay, so my save. So the other one definitely fails. The other one definitely succeeds.
Yep.
So they're going to take 3d12 damage. One who succeeds is going to take half.
Okay.
And so that is 12, 8, 12. So that is 32 points of damage.
Beautiful.
So one takes 16, the other one takes 32. And that area is now difficult terrain.
The one that failed is going to be the one that's already injured. And what was half again? Sorry.
16.
16. All right. So the one that has Drac on him, he basically the ground explodes beneath him, and it shapes the cloud differently, right? So basically,
yeah, it's essentially like I'm warping that area of architecture, like it's all just exploding, basically.
Absolutely, and he basically, as he takes the damage, he struggles to keep his footing again, and it's at this point that he has reached a bloody state. So he is over halfway dead, for those of you who are counting, but still ready to fight because you guys did a buttload of damage and he's only bloodied. Next up is Tharin.
Okay, Runic, how much health do you need to be at full?
He, it looks like he's wounded, but he's not serious wounded.
Okay.
So if you actually, he's going to relay a message to you. It would probably be more wiser to heal our little speedy friend before you heal me.
Ah, yes. Where is our little speedy friend, and how much did he take damage?
I'm fine, lay off!
As he's like
I don't know.
swinging on the
looked that
giant's
way.
belt.
I got this! Good! Good!
I say, our friend seems to enjoy this pain somehow. And I say, well, if no one needs healing, then I'm going in. So I run into the giant like a man.
Nice.
And I get on in there with my axe, and I do a little attacking of my own.
Do it. On the
Wait, which
more injured one, which has Draco on it, or the one that's
Oh yeah. So
okay.
what's gonna happen right now is I'm gonna run up in my breastplate to the one that Drax is desperately flinging. I imagine the situation is like this, where the giant is like reaching back with his hands, he's like trying to get him, then Drax is like just crawling all over the place, like like a weasel, you know, like crazy. And I'm just gonna, chop chop, fell the tree right at the legs.
Beautiful. Give it a shot. 14's your target.
All right, roll it. Oh baby, we got that nat 19.
Hey.
Let's see. Is the axe isn't 19 to 20 crit, right? Yeah.
I do not believe so. No, or no, not unless you have a character ability.
Cool. Well, then I do. It's a 19 plus 5, so that's a 24. Do I hit?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Oh, so yeah, 25. And then that's going to be a, what is it? 2d6 damage of weapon plus the damage from the axe itself. So that's 2d6 plus 1d8 plus, I think it's strength plus 2. Cool. Oh, plus 3. There we go. Do I get proficiency to damage? No, probably not.
No.
Cool. Let's roll it. So 2d6, bam, and 1d8, ba-bam. And that's going to be, oh, okay, here we go. There we go. So 9 plus 1 plus the additional 1 plus 2. Man, I did terrible damage. It was 12 damage.
12 damage. All right.
Probably have to succeed a DC 15 strength saving throw.
Apparently these giants are not very dexterous because he rolled a 2 and is now prone again. which is going to give Jack ample smashing time.
All right, so here's what happens. So I run up to the giant, which is desperately trying to grab this little dwarf figure that's just running around like crazy, nastily biting him, slapping him on the butt. Like, I swear, this guy's crazy. So I just walk up. I run up, and then I walk up, take a careful aim, just do a little chop, and it doesn't do much damage. Gives a little red cut, but the giant just like.
Yep.
I go, that's how you fell a giant.
All right, and as he falls to the ground again, Jack, you're able to hold on for dear life, and as you whip through the air, you feel this thing fall like a giant tree to the ground, to which another loud thud, and then you're on his belt, like looking up, and then he's basically like looking down at you at his belt and just sees a smile through your dwarven beard. It's your turn.
1 second here. Okay. So Drac rides this thing to the ground and then just raises both fists over his head and just starts, just smashes into it over and over. For 5, 6, 10, 15, plus 9, it's 24. For 24 damage, as he just keeps expounding these blasts of light with each punch.
All right, and this giant is definitely getting into rough shape territory now. As you look, his face, once kind of like this cleanly shaven gray, he has like almost a very similar skin to like a Durgar. It's almost like a gray Rocky, but now it's blue and purple and bloodied, and his lip is just oozing blood, and one of his eyes are completely swollen shut, and he's just like frantically trying to get you, but you're so fast that there's no chance that he even has him touching you. To which point, the giant that is beside the wall, he looks around as the terrain now has shifted and exploded around him. It's difficult. And he is just going to, at this point, look up, and he sees the wall, which is pretty massive. But he's just going to do a straight-up jump and try to jump and climb over the wall. So he's going to do an athletics, which they're fairly good at. And this turn definitely fails because I rolled a nat 1. So he falls to the ground prone, to which point he kind of scurries back up, eliminating pretty much all of his movement. And then he's just going to take a swipe at Craghammer. And, oh my God, I rolled a 2. So I'm not going to tell you what my to hit is, but I still missed you. Barely.
Yeah, I imagine just like the monocle's still on. I see it coming, and I just casually step to the side. And he misses by like mere inches. It's like when somebody, like, you see those videos online where somebody like barely survives death, like it misses them by like millimeters. Like this hand just like right past my face. I feel the wind, and my beard just.
Exactly. The giant on the ground is just, you son of a, and he can't speak well now because his lip is so fat. You stupid dog! You're gonna pay for this. And he tries to slap himself right in the face, and if he misses, he's gonna hit himself. But let's see if he does. He rolled a natural 19 on his first hit.
So I'm going to use my Seer Stone, which makes him have to re-roll as a disadvantage. Remember that magical item we talked about?
Yes, yes. All right, disadvantage. This would be a great opportunity, might I add, to use one of those ones.
What did he roll?
I'm not going to tell you the modifier, but a natural 18.
Oh.
So 19.
Hey, that's one charge on my Seer Stone, though.
Yep. So he's definitely hitting on the first strike, and then going to make a second strike. I'm going to say that he's actually going to use this to grapple you, so you're not taking any damage. But then the second strike he's going to use to slam you in the ground, which isn't going to feel good if he does so. So 27 is what his to hit is. I'm assuming unless somebody's going to...
Yes, he hits me.
Yeah. I just know Tyler is holding on to the OPOP. But nonetheless, Drac, he's going to slam you into the ground for a mighty 24 damage. Now, that puts us back up to the top of the initiative. I'm going to do a couple attacks for the guards, but I'm not going to slow it down. So, Runic, go ahead, and I'll let you know in between turns if the guards do any, or not the guards, sorry, the recruits do anything useful. Go ahead, Runic.
These recruits suck.
Yeah.
Well, they are recruits. So I'm just going to pull out 2 of my arrows and fire them both at the Morning Star, because it seems like they have it handled over there, and I don't want to get into that mess of craziness. So I'm gonna start picking on the Morning Star
Absolutely.
guy. So 17 for the first,
Definitely a hit.
and a 14 for the second. So
Definitely a hit.
Can I? Oh, nice. All right. So
He falls prone also, just so you know.
okay. So all right. So he's going to take 8 points of damage there,
Gotcha.
and then he's going to take an additional 12. But on top of that, the second arrow, as it's flying through the air, something happens to it, and it kind of illuminates the night sky as this purple energy just surrounds this arrow, and he is going to take an additional 29 points of damage as this arrow just erupts into this almost looking like a fireball kind of deal, but it's a purplish energy, and it just slams into this storm giant.
God damn. And what I'm going to say is, with that force, you hit him so far, and he flies back because of the giant slaying, that he literally flies into one of the walls and almost breaks through it entirely. So, like, the wall has pretty much been, like, smashed, and as he smashes through it, you can see out now into the sky below, and he's basically precariously sitting on the edge now, being smashed through the wall with this tremendous force. Next up, unless you have anything else,
that will be me,
is Cragham. The recruits, all 3 of them now, with the seeing Drac, who they have looked to as for inspiration, be slammed into the ground. They let out a battle cry in anger, and all start chopping into this giant, and have bloodied him to a very substantial point where he is barely standing on his feet at this point. He's wobbling, and blood is profusing from everywhere, and the giants the recruits are just slashing into this giant's ankle, mucking it up.
So I pre-rolled, and what I'm doing is I'm casting Firebolt with some different flavor to it, but I rolled a 25,
cool.
So I definitely hit. And then I rolled max damage on my 2d10, so 20 damage.
Hey.
And so basically what happens is what I do is I manipulate fate again to where one of the Drax attacks had missed. I change fate so it actually hit. So just suddenly out of nowhere, this fist print appears on the side of this thing's face, breaking its jaw and cracking it to the side, even though Drac didn't technically punch him there. It's where he would have hit if one of his hits had landed.
Absolutely. And go ahead and describe what it looks like as that guy falls dead.
Yeah, so like I said, his jaw snaps to the side, and then as he falls forward, you see the jaw kind of shift underneath. And as he lands, his jaw slams into the ground, and this thick giant bone actually cracks up through his skull into his own brain.
Very cool. Anything else on your turn?
No, I'm just maintaining concentration on the haste.
All right. Theron, one of the giants have been killed. And as you look over, the other one has been smashed into the wall and is precariously hanging out. As his head kind of dangles, you see that the sky to the outside world where this castle floats on is now exposed, and he is kind of precariously there.
All right. So I run over to where he's at, or I move over to where he is. And I imagine I walk up to the edge, and he can see me. I can see him. Maybe he begs for mercy. But at this point, I'm not having any of it. I swing at his hands that are still clutching at the cloud tips. And
that advantage because he's technically kind of like in a prone state.
Awesome. Okay. That's going to be a 19. Do I hit?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So I say, "This is for Recruitius," and bam, right, chop the hand right off. A little blood sprays out right on my white beard, and I go, "I'm a cleric for life." That's it. Oh, let me deal the damage, I suppose. Let's see. It's
I'll
gonna be
roll
1D.
his deck save, and if he fails his deck save, he'll fall off.
All right, cool.
But this time he finally rolled an 18.
All right. Okay, so we got 7, 12. We got. So we got 15.
15 damage. You do, in fact, chop off a bunch of his fingers, to which point you leave him hanging on, but with one hand. He's precariously hanging on there at the edge, and you just, no, stop, don't do that, as he's yelling in pain. And normally he would have more than ample enough time to pull himself up, but since Drac is so goddamn fast right now, you momentarily take in everything that's happened and analyze it all with perfect clarity and see that this giant is just holding on with one hand on the edge of the castle.
Yeah, and so Drac just charges through the air at this guy in a streak, leaving a streak of light behind him, screaming at his battle rage as he runs right up to the face of this thing and just starts wailing onto the side of his head with a flurry of punches and kicks. Light streaming off of each hit, just impossible to see through the brilliance of his attacks. And he does 44 damage.
Oh, God.
He just racks into the side of this dude's temple.
What a beast. So, yeah, I'm going to say that he definitely, at this point, starts to fall off. But it's not before he has time with his one good hand to grab at you and try to take you with him. It's going to be a grapple contest, Drac.
All right, that young deck save of 21.
21. Now, that's pretty good, but I will tell you that the Cloud Giants have a +8 to this check, so we'll see what I roll once my computer unfreezes, if it ever unfreezes. All right, there we go. All right, moment of truth. 21 I got to beat?
Yeah.
Literally rolled a 20.
Oh, God.
His arm reaches out as he, no! And he starts to squeeze, and you're basically in his massive palm of a hand, and you start to see the shadows of his hand engulf you. But with the absolute speed and precision, you jump straight up, and his hand closes, and you just feel that gust of wind below you, and his palm just like grazes your foot and jumps and falls to the ground, and you hear him plummet into the storm below. Narrowly escaping that. You take a moment to look around as the one giant's jaw is smashed to the ground and broken. Somehow through all this, it doesn't seem like you've drawn any alert to you. But nonetheless, you have a mission. There's 3 recruits left, and there's 4 of you. The recruits look at you and say, we got 2 things to do here. We have to take down the storm cloud, and we got to get to the navigational orb. We should, and they don't look like they want to say this, but they say, we should split up.
I say that's a pretty risky strategy right there.
And under Kraken's wrath, he's like under his breath, "I'm supposed to consider it too, guys."
What should we do?
I say, well, we should try to not draw any more attention. I think that we should push this other cloud giant, the one that we mangled, into this hole. And then we should use a little magic to maybe patch this hole up a little bit. Maybe a smidge. Maybe illusion or something like that.
Wouldn't that take a little bit of, or wouldn't that take up too much time, though?
Maybe. Well, pushing the giant over shouldn't take too much time, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And with that, you kind of look at Runic, and you could tell there's a reason why he uses a short bow. Like, there's very little strength in his actual arms. So him helping on pushing this giant where you want is probably not going to be the best thing.
I say, well, Runic, how about you keep an eye out, and the rest of us with these recruits might take care of this this giant situation.
And with that, like, he just nods, and when he does, it almost looks like he melts into the shadow, but not really.
I say to my breath,
I'm switching my...
Useful, but creepy.
So give me, everyone can do a strength check at advantage to see, and this is basically just going to be a group strength check. So as long as more of you succeed than fail, then you do it. The recruits will help. So I'll do that right now. I'll just roll.
Nat 20, baby. I got 29 total.
I got that 18.
21.
I'm helping.
All right. So yeah, only because of you guys and one recruit are you able to push this body, and it falls down into the storm below.
What's
It's
the
at
name
this-
of that second recruit? The one that helped.
Gladius.
Gladius. I love it. Or is it Gladius?
His Recruitius' brother.
Yeah,
It's
he's
correct.
Recruitius's brother, Gladius.
Maybe
Man,
it's
their parents were original when it came to names.
Yeah.
When
I'd
as
say,
this is
Gladius,
happening,
I clap Gladius on the shoulder. I say, Gladius, I think you're going to do just fine in the sky fallen dwarves.
And he's like crying because his brother's dead.
Yeah. Oh, Miss
He
He
Recruitius.
died for his country. He died well.
So it's at this moment now that you have a moment to kind of take in the surroundings and get a feel for what you want to do. As you look over, you remember that there's this kind of wall in between that has a large set of stairs towards the, we're going to just say west. The west carries up the stairs to basically a bridge, which also connects to the main entranceway of the building. Now, the main entranceway obviously leads towards the tower where the navigational orb is. But you would also notice that along the western side of the wall is this tower that seems to be glowing with energy. And as you look at it, you would see that almost like a chimney. At first, you would mistake it for smoke seems to be emanating out of it. But as you look, you would notice that that is definitely not smoke emanating out of it, but almost like storm cloud. Kind of coming out like a chimney and then going up into the air to where the storm is coming from.
I say that looks like the place where the navigation stone is. Is that right? Navigation stone?
well, no, the navigation stone is in the other direction. This is the other one.
So I know there's one that causes storms. What's the other one again?
The navigation stone. We got the navigation one, and then the one that causes the storm.
The
What?
navigation stone controls this floating castle. It's basically what steers it and keeps it in the air. And then some kind of energy is creating a storm barricade, which is stopping Clarion the dragon from helping you guys out in this assault.
Wouldn't
I
it be
say-
better for us to go and take out the weather stone first, so that way we can get the dragon's help on taking the navigation stone?
And that could be good. That could be good. I have another idea, which is possibly get the navigation stone and crash the castle, which will put into disarray, perhaps. Possible, but I think that the dragon idea is pretty good too. I think it's more reasonable.
And it's
Because
at
if we
this
crash
point.
the castle.
Go ahead.
If we crash a castle, then we might take damage too, right?
Yeah, and how would we escape?
Exactly.
So,
Um,
well, I know I have a means of escape, but I'm not sure about the rest of you.
Oh, I have one. I have means enough for the group. It's called Featherfall, baby.
we could featherfall. You can featherfall everybody.
It's up to 8 people, I believe.
Oh, we can even featherfall the recruits. Gladius.
Yeah, that's what
will be advantage.
we crash the castle, just jump off without the recruits.
Recruits are like, but. Well, I'm keeping this on the down low, but I have Revivify, right? I could bring back one of the recruits.
It's at this point that you see that another pair of cloud giants are basically going to start walking around the perimeter of the wall and assumably take up the scouting position. You guys are able to pretty much like duck below, and they don't necessarily know where anything is going on. They're not at the main perch where you guys fought, so it'll be at least a couple minutes before they have time to inspect the potential. Like, obviously, you're not going to have time to undo all of the damage that you caused, but you at least hit the bodies. So if you're quick, that you'll have time to move around this castle before you're alerted. But we're also going to take a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll get back to this and finish this up. All right? So
Cool.
Everyone go to the washroom, take a 5-minute break, get a drink, and we'll be right back at it. All right?
Excellent.
Washroom, you filthy Canadian.
I might.
Hey.
I don't know why I went Australian there.
Damn.
All right. I'll be right back, guys.
Heidi.
All right, I am back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. So how's it going tonight?
It's going good. It's going good. I enjoyed Recruitius.
Yeah,
Gladius, I'm expecting great things.
he was definitely adorned in red shirt, leather armor.
They all have red shirt. Like, we all have the blue shirt. We all have the
Yeah.
blue armor. We've got people with some gold armor. Then you got
Yeah.
these 3 recruits. They got the red armor. They chose it because it looked cool.
They thought it made him look powerful.
Exactly. But really, it just hides the blood better.
Exactly. This is actually my first chance getting a chance to play with you.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
think we've ever
my
crossed-
first time playing with the group, with
Right.
everybody. I suppose it's fun.
It's been good so far. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
enjoying everybody so far. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't want to be too too interrupty. I know I like to interrupt.
So far, you are fine.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we'll give everyone a point of inspiration once everyone gets back, just because we're all having fun.
Nice.
Everyone's doing good. I always forget to do it, so I'll do it now while I'm thinking about it.
Nice. Yeah, I thought about taking the lucky feat,
Yeah.
but I decided against it. I took the healer feat instead. I don't know. Don't know if I made the right decision there.
It might be useful.
Yeah, it could be useful.
You've seen how the Giants hit. For
Yeah,
sure.
they hit really hard.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of my resources to heal up even just one hit.
Yeah, the clerics don't have necessarily a lot of bang for their heal unless they're doing higher up spell slots.
Right. One thing they can do is that I think the strategy is going to be to let everyone get below half health.
Mhm.
Because if people are below half health, my channel divinity can heal up to 30 HP at once,
Nice.
but it can only heal up to half health. So
Ah.
a lot of people have to be pretty close to dead,
Gotcha.
or one person has to be really close to dead.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, then I can use that twice for short rest. But I don't think we're probably going to get a chance to short rest in this dungeon.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah,
Yeah, Chris isn't going to let us have a short rest.
that's too bad. Well, I got 2 of them. I can heal 2
Yeah.
giants.
Drac is OP with that damage so far.
Dude, that haste is dope.
Yeah. Haste is nasty.
And it's super clutch that you guys had the giant slaying weapons, because otherwise I wouldn't have had all the advantage.
Yeah.
Worked out nicely.
My thought is that the recruits probably don't have the greatest stealth scores, and I feel like there's going to be some stealth coming up. I just feel it in my bones.
If you guys can pass your stealth, I could fix the recruits, bombing. Well, 2 of them. No, yeah, I can fix 3 of them.
Yeah, that's how many we
It's
got
just-
left.
Poor recruit.
Well, no, actually,
Poor.
I can only do 2. So
Rip.
Rest in pepperoni.
I was almost thinking that we split up and send them for the
Navigation.
energy maybe,
Yeah.
and
No.
then we all just rush the navigation orb.
The part of me that lawful good says that I need a good, what do you call it? A good reason to do that. But the player part of me says yes.
Idea.
I would say do it the opposite. We go after the weather and send them after the navigation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we want to
Even
succeed.
if they fail, we can knock out the weather and then have the dragon come and help us.
True,
To
unless
knock
it turns out that magical entity is something that just TPKs us, and then the recruits are like, "Oh, geez, how do we work this thing?" Then that
Hey,
thing
we
goes
got
there
Featherfall.
and it's dead.
Well, if the recruits somehow, against all odds, make it to the navigation control and mess it up, that could be good for us.
So many possibilities. I guess it's more or less along the lines of what do we want to do. So,
Yeah. Or we could all stay
my
together
vote
and go
is-
somewhere.
yeah, my vote is us going after the weather. Even if we split up or stay together, I think we should go after the weather.
Yeah, I agree. I think the
because
weather is the
even-
top priority.
Even if we fail, say if we die, if we can damage that weather control device, that will at least reveal the castle enough to where the queen can send others in to knock it out, kind of deal.
True.
that's like my thinking behind it. So
Where's the artillery? The dragon's artillery.
yeah, basically.
Will the dragon be amenable to that? Will he agree? Because I know the dragon owes a favor, but I don't know if that favor extends to assaulting the castle.
Not Clarion's a dick. That's why he won't help us.
Yeah, if we're talking Forgotten Realms, I don't know if he would fight with us. Like silver dragons are like more aloof.
But perhaps we make it fun to him. Perhaps we make it a little interesting for him. Maybe
Silver
it's a bet.
dragons hate dragons or hate giants. Like actually, most dragons hate giants. If I remember, well, this is older editions. I don't know about 5th edition, but
Definitely, giants and dragons have had age-old war. They're not homies.
Question is if he could even approach the castle, considering how much heavy artillery they have on the walls.
Good point. I'm saying we all stealth in for that navigation orb, crash this place, and get the heck out. Direct to the point. Let's all go.
The crashing does have its charm. For sure.
That's one vote weather.
That's mine.
One vote navigation. So what about you two? That's you guys are going to make up the deciding factor.
I think a dragon could probably. I feel like a dragon. How old is this dragon? It's just like an ancient dragon.
It's an adult dragon.
It's an adult dragon.
So it's pretty strong.
It's pretty strong. I think it could sustain a sustained artillery attack. But the thing is, I'm not sure that I am sold on it attacking unless we communicate with it. I don't think it's going to attack by itself. Can we communicate with it?
It told you that if you guys drop the storm, that it will help you get out. Didn't necessarily say. That was basically the plan. You drop the storm, and it will get you out. If you don't drop the storm, then figure your own way to get you out.
So are both objectives required? Do we need to stop the storm and disable the navigation?
Technically, all that really matters to the queen, although she definitely 100% cares about all your lives, is that the Skyreach is destroyed. And by destroying the navigational orb, Skyreach will definitely plummet down and inevitably be destroyed.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that if we destroy the navigation orb, the castle will plummet. We featherfall. If we featherfall, the storm will catch us and batter us around. Not ideal. We'll take a lot of damage from lightning, most likely. It is possible that we die. We succeed the mission, but we die heroically. Yep. Now, I'm not all for that plan. My character likes to live. That's why he's a life cleric for life. That's right. That's kind of my jam, you know? So, but putting the navigation into chaos will throw the entire place into chaos. But the thing is, I don't think we can use that chaos within the time period of the cloud castle falling to the ground, right? There will be problems, right? There's going to be gravity problems. We're not going to be able to move around. It's going to be 0G. It may be only falling for like 10 seconds, 20 seconds tops. So problems there. The other thing is that so we crash the castle. What if the other orb is just destroyed, right? It could get destroyed in the fall, destroy the storm. Or it might get like tilted. Like if the castle's falling, the storm might tilt and we kind of like, boo, out this way. Or
starting to kind of split hairs here.
So I agree. I think that crashing the castle is a risky strategy.
I believe in you guys to make the right choice.
Right. I think that the adult dragon can handle a barrage or two. I bet it's seen a barrage or two in its day. You know, everyone's trying to kill dragons. So let's.
Either way, I'm pretty sure I'm getting out alive, so that's okay.
Yeah, I'm not worried about y'all. I'm not worried about myself either. But we don't even really know where everything is. So at this point, our strategy is just run in there, and then we'll figure out what we'll do when we figure out where anything is. Right. We
know which direction is which, right? Like we know which orb is in which direction because we've seen the cloud with the weather orb. We haven't seen the navigation orb stuff, right?
You know that the navigation orb is said to be in the main tower, and then you've seen a weird glowing room that seems to be emanating storms, basically in the opposite direction.
You know, here's an idea.
Oh gosh,
I don't like this idea because it involves me going by myself, but it is a possibility. You three and the recruits go to the navigation. I go to the weather because I can hopefully get close enough. Now, of course, this depends on if there's the bosses in that room with true seeing, then my plan is all shot to hell. But I could probably get there. And if it's an item, I could probably steal that item, jump out, basically steal the item, the storm thingy, and you guys can destroy the navigation.
Sounds good. Let's get to work.
Now that's a risky strategy I can take a risk on.
Because he's not risking himself.
It's at this
That's
moment
right.
as you guys are talking strategies that you see that the cloud giants that are on scouts have made their way at least halfway to where you guys are. So if they make it to where you are, they'll know that there's at least something going on because they'll see not necessarily the dead bodies, but they'll see some carnage in a broken wall.
I say, all right. I say this is a good plan. I think this is the best plan that I've heard in my life. And let's do this.
Okay.
I pat Runic on the shoulder and I say, take the recruits with you.
Take the recruits with you. You'll need it.
Actually, I think it would probably be better if I go by myself because I don't think I can cover all the recruits. So I think it might be better if I do. If we're going with the plan.
And I clap Gladius on his shoulder and I say, and besides, I want this strapping young lad right here where I can keep an eye on him.
Tears are still dripping down his face after his brother's death.
So it's at this point that you guys are definitely going to need to make a stealth check anyways to see if you can get by the just kibosh all of your plans right now and get caught right at the very beginning.
Yeah,
you can send Runic out ahead because I'm assuming that he has something to make him go invisible, which would mean that he's pretty much near impossible to see. Is that what you're going to do? So you go out ahead and you definitely make your stealth check because are you going invisible?
Not yet. If I think I may get caught, then I would definitely.
All right, so I'll say that you take off ahead, and you basically have to make your way up to the stairs and start going westward. Is the plan everybody else in the recruits going to the main tower?
Yes.
All right, so that's a group stealth check in which all of you have to succeed more than you fail. So let's get some recruit stealth up in there. These masterminds, ninjas of the night, some might say.
Ooh.
Maybe we should split in two halves where they go to the right and we go to the left.
I rolled for the recruits. Where you guys? What did you guys roll?
We got that 15, 23, 18.
15, 23, 18.
I'd
So
laugh if the recruits pass and you guys failed. That would be hilarious.
2 failed, 1 passed. So that's
win.
more than enough to successfully sneak. And we'll say that as you make your way up, you climb up this staircase, which is even in itself a bit of an ordeal because they're giant stairs and you guys are dwarfs. So it's more of like an actual climb than actually walking upstairs. And after a while, you find yourself 100 feet up this wall, to which essentially is a giant bridge. One leads all the way to the main tower, which is this absolutely awe-inspiring tower that almost looks like it's made of some kind of tinted glass or whatnot. And then as you look behind, it's the building which seems to be emanating storms. Runic goes off one way and you go off the other way.
I bid a farewell salute to Runic.
Rip in pepperonis. Anyways, who do we want to do first?
Do them first. I volunteer them first.
All right. You walk up this bridge, which in itself is just absolutely huge in comparison to you. You look like almost dots next to this tower. And as you walk inside, the building itself is absolutely beautifully decorated. The first thing that you see are these stone giants that are basically what you would suspect are these tributes to important giant gods, and they all stand absolutely 30 feet tall, bigger than even a normal cloud giant, and they're all carrying these staffs, and there's about we'll say 7 of them. As you look around, you come into and see basically what you'd expect from a noble family, this really ornately decorated furniture, but the chair itself is huge. The tables are huge. You see all these crystal chandeliers, which are quadruple the size of you, if not bigger. And what it is on the main floor, there's all these doors that lead to separate rooms. But in the center of the room is this spiraling staircase, and what you see above, roughly 200 feet up the spiraling staircase, is another floor with a crystal that can be seen through the center of the floor that is glowing this blue. The staircase leads up to this next level. You've been described what the navigational orb looks like, and it looks like a blue glowing crystal that is perfectly circular or sphere-like, and this crystal 200 feet up the staircase definitely seems to be that.
I telepathically communicate with our group, and I say, hey, it looks like that's the thing. Let's sneak it.
I hate to be a bummer, but I was the one that was doing the telepathic messaging, so unless you guys have a way of doing it, sorry.
Does it have a range limit?
Yeah, I have to.
Well, it's 120 feet, and it's only like him. You can't like communicate to other people. It only links you to him.
Yeah.
Unless
you can only
he does
communicate
it.
to me. So
Very well. Then I whisper that thing I whispered.
As you look to the floor, you see like almost like a mist kind of climbing to the floor that almost like a dry ice kind of thing seems to be floating across the floor itself, and it feels pretty cold, almost kind of like ice, but maybe it's just the altitude that you guys are at.
Let's see.
Can cloud giants go gaseous form too?
You can maybe do a history check on cloud giants.
Oh, that's a natural 18.
Natural 18. Let me pull you up what you know about cloud giants. One, they consider themselves kind of like high and mighty aristocrats of giant society. They seem to love wealth and power, and that becomes dreadfully apparent by just looking at this tower. Like whoever the owner of this is has made no shortcuts in buying the most expensive of stuff. Let me see what you also know about what cloud giants can do. You definitely know that they're said to be able to control weather, making a beautiful day turn into a terrible storm, and that they are said to be able to turn into cloud themselves.
Does this little cloud that's moving around look like it is moving with purpose?
Not necessarily, no. It just seems to be across the entire floor itself, which in reference to how big this hall is, this circular room, we are talking about 200 feet across, so I suck at math and forget how diameter works, but it's a very big room.
Okay. 200 feet across, that would be the diameter. So 100-foot radius.
There it is.
So I'm looking. I don't know any of this cloud giant stuff, and I'm not smart enough to think of it. So I'm just looking around for actual giants or things like that. Do I see any?
You don't seem to.
Okay, great. I'm gonna start sneaking it.
All right, sneak it away. We'll do another stealth check.
Cool.
And then we'll pan over to Chester.
All right. Oh, terrible stealth check. It's gonna be a 4. Regular 4 plus, what do you call it? Plus 1. Yeah, it's a 5.
5. All right. So as you guys start to climb up this staircase that spirals around the room up into the center, up into another floor, we pan over to Runic, who is just entering this building that seems to be emanating the storm itself. And as you walk in, it's kind of like walking into like, almost picture like a hookah room or something. The mist and storm is just absolutely dense in here, but it has like an essence kind of smell. And as you look around, obviously, I'm repeating myself at this point, but the room is giant in size, so everything is giant size. And you see all these tables, and basically on the floor itself are these runed etchings and 3 circles in each corner of this. I guess it's kind of a bad thing, but the room is circular, but there's 3 glowing lights that seem to form a triangle in the center of this room. And then as you look around, there's just smoke kind of oozing around, almost like a gentle kind of whirlwind soaring around the room. You see tables and chairs and basically what you would assume the giants smoke something out of. It looks like they're actually smoking like cloud. And at the top of the room, we're going to say this room is about 80 feet in height, is this glass cylinder that seems to have an immense storm just swirling in it. And that's what seems to be emanating all of this smoke. Now that is rather high in the building itself, 80 feet to a dwarf, which is...
Okay, 80 feet?
Yeah.
Let's me see what kind of trickery... I'm missing one of the things, but okay. Well, the first thing I think I would do is actually... Hang on, give me 1 second. Damn it. Got too many damn pop-ups. Too many pop-ups everywhere.
Pop-up.
Can I minimize this one? There we go. Awesome. All right, so... So there's no way of getting up to that circular orb up there? Like
you would assume, like, I don't know what movie this happens in, but you'd assume that you could, like, willy-nilly climb up all the furniture and basically swing from, like, table to bookshelf to, like, a lamp thing. Like, but it would be a pretty strenuous task and would involve quite a bit of checks. Picture, like, a big friendly giant kind of thing where you're just, like, using the giant's furniture as a mountainous kind of climbing terrain to inevitably get up there. There is enough, like, weird dangling chandeliers and whatnot that you could eventually make your way up there.
Okay, well, I could probably do it in one go, but I'm gonna have to give myself 20 feet of height before I could do it. Basically.
All right.
So I basically can do it in 60 feet. So there's nothing else in the room, like.
Give a perception check.
Okay. Yeah, because that's the big thing I want to know. If there's like a giant or gaseous cloud that looks a little weird.
It all starts with a perception check.
Oop,
and
did that roll?
quickly goes downhill.
Oh no, it didn't roll.
Nope.
I didn't have it close enough.
Doo-ba-doo.
Oh, that one didn't roll either. Okay.
You can just double click the skill itself or the modifier and it should roll for you.
There it goes, 12.
All right. 12 is enough. You don't see it, but what you hear is like a little laugh. And then the flapping of rapid wings.
I'm going to activate True Sight, actually.
True Sight.
Yep.
And what is that word for word?
You gain True Sight within the radius of 30 feet.
What is words? Is True Sight just invisibility, or like you see through like smoke and everything?
Let me.
I believe it's all magical concealment, even including invisibility.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna say is what you see kind of across the room is an imp-like little entity that has these little tiny, rapidly flapping wings, and they. I guess what we're going to call them is what they look like to you is like an air imp. And one of them kind of darts by the room and laughs. And then as you look above, you would see a couple more dart by and start to snicker.
Do they see me?
You would assume so. It looks like they're hiding at this point.
Huh. Okay. So are they just hiding or are they invisible by magical means?
Nope. Just basically they'd be obscured by the immense cloud that is in this room.
Okay,
they are heavily obscured by vision, but True Sight, I'm going to assume, sees it.
Then I'm going to cancel out my True Sight that I have going and immediately basically go invisibility.
All right. We'll pan back over to our group who is making a stealthy descent up the large staircase.
Not that
stealthy descent, I mean only 2 succeeded their stealth check, and Theron and the 3 recruits absolutely launched it. So I imagine you get up to the top of the stairs, and then someone like drops their helmet or something, and all you hear is ricocheting down this massive staircase is armor clang after clang for what feels like an eternity.
It's like the Mines of Moria all over again. Freaking Pippin.
Yeah. Someone pippined right out. Nonetheless, You get up to the next level where this navigational orb is, and it sits floating above this altar, which the altar itself is 40 feet off the ground, and then the orb is floating above this altar with like this glowing blue haze kind of emanating around it another 10 feet. As you look around, you notice that this room looks like a grand throne room. And the mist and fog is even more thick in this area. And at this point is almost up to your like waist or even close to your shoulders. It's at that moment that you see sitting on the throne itself is, and let me find an actual picture of said person and I'll screen share it because it's easier that way. All right. And screen share. A cloud giant who has this staff which swirls at the top and has an orb in the center of it. And on this orb, lightning seems to be occasionally arcing off of it. And at the bottom of it, it seems like the mist itself is generating from this staff. She sits there as you guys kind of come up and you poke your heads up on the staircase. And who you see before you is Velsuna, the self-proclaimed Queen of the Storms. She looks and sees you all approaching due to your stealthy embarkment up the staircase and smiles and says, "Welcome to my abode. I didn't expect any company today. Dwarfs, is it? From the Mithril Hall, I presume. Did you come to stop us from laying waste to your mountainous home?" She stares at you and studies you, waiting to see what you have to say.
Who's got something?
I'm just kidding.
Y'all just stare at her blankly.
No. I say, we've come to stop you, all right? And we're going to do it by wrecking this castle and everything you have.
She slams her staff into the ground, and this gently flowing mist immediately starts to shift and turn into this storm cloud, which instantly rises above you and arcs, and lightning starts streaking across the floors. Thunder booms, and she says, "You dare think you can stop Queen Velsuna, the ruler of storms?
We're sure gonna try.
I shall send you plummeting below, and you will squash on the ground earth. I shall lay this land in waste and plummet into darkness like Countess Sansuri has requested. The cloud giants will reign above all and take the son of Great Anam to themselves and send all you small folk and dwellers of earth below into eternal darkness." To which she slams it again. Lightning arcs across the entire floor. You're all going to have to make a dex save to see if you get hit by it. Y'all split the party. Y'all thought you could split the party and stealth around on me. 9.
Oh, I got a 9.
In the distance, a dwarf who has entered a smoke-filled room hears suddenly beckoning from the tower this loud clap of thunder. Drac has a 9. What else do we got? Go ahead. Or did you guys post it in chat? 7. You guys picked a good time to roll some shitty-ass ignition.
Hey, got an 18, baby. Don't look at me.
The recruits, although pitiful they may be, are at least consistent on initiative.
Oh, are you rolling initiative right now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I completely blanked out and for some reason forgot that I told you guys to roll a dex save. All right, so lightning damage. Shit, I just closed that. My bad. Give me a second here. That's not what I want. And what we want is this. And all right. So if you fail the 15, You're taking 37 lightning damage. If you pass
Wait,
that,
is this a spell?
yes,
What level spell?
you would know innately in the moment of seconds. But what do you got?
Let me hurry and check something real quickly.
I need you, man.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of dice go flying across the screen. It's like, holy crap! I am so glad I'm not there right now.
I have an idea. I'm just wondering that if it's a high level spell, if I can still cast it on it.
If it's a counter spell, is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
You basically roll your Arcana, and the DC, I believe, is 10 plus the spell level. I could be wrong,
okay. So if it's third level or lower, it's canceled immediately. If it's higher, they make a spell casting check to see if they can still cast it. So
Yes.
it's higher than third level.
Yes, so I have to make a spell casting check.
Hey,
No,
guess
he
what?
Does
Say
No,
again?
the caster does, the one I'm counterspelling.
All right, so give me
But
a
guess
sec.
what? Nat 1, baby.
Oh, shit. You not won me.
So, okay, here's how it goes. She slams her staff on the ground, and there's crackling lightning, but then it just stops. And the fog fizzles and falls apart. And what I'm doing, I'm making it almost as if she never prepared. This spell was never prepped. And I start walking towards her, and I stop. And I say, you are mistaken. You said we are foolish to think that we can stop you, but we know that we can.
You cannot stop the storm that is coming, foolish dwarf.
And then the cloud dissipates.
Yep. It's at that point that we will roll initiative and then bounce over to Mr. Runic. So, yeah, go ahead and roll your initiative real quick. All right.
One more third level, boys. One more third level.
18.
Unless you'll count our trek here as a short rest.
Oh, heck no.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
What else everyone got? 12 on
Roll.
initiative.
Woo! That lit nat 19, baby. Dude, my dice love me tonight. Holy cow.
Attaboy. All right.
I had no dexterity modifier, so just 19.
A question, Chris. Do you want me to go ahead and roll like my initiative, and when it just comes up on my turn, that's when we'll get back to me?
We might as well.
Okay.
All right. So we pan over to you, and what do you do as you notice that there's about 4 or 5 of these imps that notice you hiding in this, and then also the crackle of thunder coming from above in the tower. Could only assume that your friends are up to something.
Did my invisibility go off?
Yeah, we'll say it did.
Do they still notice me? Like, are they still like tracking?
You'll notice that as you walk through the room itself, even though you're invisible, the clouds are so heavy that even though it doesn't necessarily fully flush you out, the clouds move when you move through them.
Okay.
So you'll notice that they'll at least be able to somewhat know where you are.
Okay, so it does give me a little bit of an advantage, so I'm not like immediately
permitting that they can't see invisibility. You don't necessarily know what these creatures are, but if they can't see invisibility, you would assume that you have at least a sight advantage over them.
Okay, so I'm going to describe the room again for me. Like, is there?
So it's a circular room, and basically at the highest point is this giant cylinder that seems to be containing a storm, which is what's emanating all this storm. And all these chandeliers kind of hang down, in which suck up some of the storm. And basically the things hanging seem to be like some kind of smoking device, so that it's basically like a cloud hookah.
The storm circle thingy, my bobber, how well is it in place up there?
It is hung in place by a nice thick iron chain. Giant size.
How big is this orb that we're talking about as well?
Not an orb. It's basically it looks like a big cylinder glass or something similar to glass containing a storm inside of it.
Okay. Oh, I think I might have taken an undertaking bigger than what I thought, but I'm still going to try. So, is there, because I'm thinking more of giant term size items in the room, is there like a chair or something along those lines that I can climb up onto, and then on top of a table?
Yep, any furniture that you would think would be rightfully in this room definitely is.
Okay. I'm actually going a little bit too far and thinking like the beanstalk, giant and the beanstalk, where this big and a massive. Like I need to get that out of my head because that's what I'm thinking. It's like, oh, I can do this and this. And it's like, no, you can't. Well, then I'm going to attempt to climb up on the chair and then up on top of the table and see how much
acrobatics
distance that gives me.
Unless you got some, or actually climbing. You could do either or, athletics or acrobatics.
Well, would prefer acrobatics, but athletics makes more sense to me.
Go for it.
So that's crap. Give me 1 second. I got to move all this crap out of the way. Athletics right here. Actually, what I am going to do, I'm going to use my bonus action to give myself proficiency in that skill. So, so I'm not so shitty at it. It's a 9.
So you start to make your way up, but it's rather slowly, and it's at that point where you start climbing that you hear the wings rapidly flutter around you again, like a giant kind of like hummingbird or something whip by you. And it's at that point, as you hear a snicker, that you feel a searing pain rip across you as one of these air imps slash across you with its little tiny dagger for a total of 4 damage.
In doing that, I'm actually going to use my reaction to teleport to where I was, and I take no damage.
Okay.
So I just basically move back 25 feet.
All right. We'll go to Craghammer next, or Cragham, sorry, who is next, and we're basically just do initiative like that. So whenever it comes up, we'll just advance it. So go ahead, Cragham. You are facing off against the Queen of Storms.
So quick question. Where does she fall in the initiative order currently?
Awkward moment. I haven't rolled their initiative yet. I just realized. I was just thinking that myself. So it'd be funny if she rolled higher than you. But she definitely didn't. So let me just type initiative real quick. Get that in there. So into chat, it will go Runic, Craig, Drac,
whoever Gladius is.
Gladius, actually Queen is first. You can't see her.
Okay.
And then Noobs and Theron.
Woo! What a thug. Okay. Okay, so Drax going after me, then the Queen. Oh, okay. So I only maintain 1 concentration at a time, so this is going to be a toughie. So question. If somebody's paralyzed, every hit that's done to them while they're paralyzed is a crit, right?
I believe it's advantage, and then if you do hit, it is indeed a crit.
Yeah, I think
so.
That's
So,
right.
Drac, my friend, how do you feel about critting 4 times next turn?
Well, I think it'd be 3, but that'd be dope.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Whole Person on her. So make her make a Wisdom save, DC 15.
All right. Oh, I see what you're going to fucking do right now. She passes.
I forced the nat 1.
All right. She uses a legendary action to auto pass.
To auto pass? Wait,
Yeah.
Can she actually force? She can auto pass a save?
That's what a legendary resistance or whatever.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that stupid ability.
Yep.
Say goodbye to one of your nat 1, sucker.
That's my other nat 1. I've already used
no.
one.
But the good news is she's only got 3 of those, so she's only got 2 left.
Yeah.
Okay, well that was only a 2nd level spell, so that's okay. That's fine. I'll try again next turn. I'll give her disadvantage with my Seer Stone. Okay. See, I told you this character would be super annoying, dude. I told you. Okay.
Oh, I knew right away. I had plans for those. You ain't gonna spoil my plans, boy.
I find cover.
You find cover. Beautiful.
All right, so Drax's fists give off a small bit of light as he looks to Cragham, and then up to the orb, and then back to Velsuna as he looks to Cragham for direction.
And I look over at him, and I go, sicker.
It's just running through the air.
Alright.
Doing. Let's see. So that's 3. So the last one's definitely not going to hit. The first one is a 18. The second one's a 25.
So the first one would normally have hit, but as you charge in, she stands up, and as you basically like jump through the air and get ready to punch her, she smiles, and you see this arcane light start to emanate off her staff. And as you do so, you land into her chest, but you feel something in between you and her. She casts a shield spell to boost up her AC on the first one, meaning that her AC is definitely higher than an 18 now, but a 25 still gets through.
All right.
And what's the other one?
The other one was like a 3 on the die, so there's no way.
So one attack gets through, and you burn a spell slot of hers.
So yeah, one attack gets through for 6 damage. Clutch.
Beautiful. 6 mighty punching damage. Not as impressive as a haste super punch. Now she's still oh yeah, you don't have your giant slaying weapon. Rip. All right. So then as you do so, she basically brushes it off like it literally meant nothing to her, which puts the recruits up next, and they are...
Wait, no, the recruits go after the queen.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Correct me. Thank you. Bonus action. She slams her staff into the ground, and then this cold, icy floor that you see starts to form these crystals. 6 of them start to arc up from the ground themselves. And then these, at first shaped like just shards of ice, start to melt and break off, and they form what looks like crystallized versions of Aarakocra. These winged birds, basically bipedal birds. They instantly all just basically start to flap their icy wings, to which 6 of them will all start to, on their next round, or actually right now, they get to go in and start to attack. And that's her bonus action. Next, she will start to cast another spell in which she flies in the air. And this is a pretty massive room, so she's going to take her full flight.
She's flying away from me?
Fly 60 feet up, which, yes, she is flying away from you.
20. She's still... Oh, wait. Shield expires on her turn, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it expires after his turn. It only lasts 1 round, or 1 turn, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it lasts the whole round, which, yeah, would mean that it's over now on her turn, I think, correct?
Yeah. All right,
Yep.
6. So if she's flying away, I get 1 more light
Yep.
punch for 5 damage.
You punch her. 5 damage? All right. She flies into the air, at which point her 6 Aarakocra, we'll just call them that for now, will start to engage on all of you. The first one is going to go for you, Craig Hammer. Not 20.
I will use my Seer Stone to invoke disadvantage on that.
That's a good time to use that. All right. Give me a second here. What the hell? I'll roll again. And natural 19. Not even kidding.
Well, it's better than a 20. That's all I can say.
Can you see my rolls, Chester?
No, it's
Oh,
in
damn.
the DM.
I'm
I can
rolling
see
so
you
good.
rolling the dice, but I can't actually see your rolls.
All right. So these beasts only hit you for 3 damage. Another one will go on to Drac. Another natural 19. Holy Christ. For 5 damage, you're getting 1 Theron. For a... That is only a 13, so I think that misses you. And then a recruit is going to get engaged by the rest of them, which a couple hit, a couple miss. That puts the recruits up, which they will swing back. And Theron, you can start thinking of your turn while I do that.
Excellent.
Or start
For
doing
my
your turn.
turn, I'm just going to let's see. I'm going to get closer to Drax, so I'm going to get closer to him and right next to him if I can. Maybe right
Now,
behind him.
you have one of these Aarakocra on you, so if you want to get out, you're going to have to either disengage or take an opportunity attack.
I'll take an opportunity attack.
All right, they'll swing at you again. Definitely missing.
Great. All right, so I get next to Drax, and I'm going to cast Bless on all 3 of us that are in the room, excluding the noobs.
Okay, sounds good.
Sorry, noobs. I only got room for 3.
They look at you like, come on, man. Like, we're part of the team too, but...
And I go, no, I'm not blessing you because I believe in you. These guys, they need a little help. You guys, you can handle it.
They believe that entirely, and
Perfect.
get ready to fight. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right,
They're all
Runic.
blessed. Y'all can take an extra 1d4 on all your attacks and all your saves.
Runic, you're back in this room, and now you see that these imps are starting to flutter around the room more aggressively, and you teleported back to where you began, so you've basically made no gang or any leeway on getting towards this cylinder.
Yes, but also I forgot that, or not forgot, I didn't read a certain ability, so I can actually reach it this turn. But
Nice.
there's a certain thing like up where the storm bubble thingy mabobber is there a way, like, is there a place for me to stand kind of deal? Or-
If
Actually,
you
you know
were to
what?
climb all the way to the very top of it and basically climb down the chain, then yeah, you could stand on the base of it.
Okay, so I'm actually going to use an ability called Pneumatic Anchor, or Nomadic. There we go. And I create an invisible, intangible teleportation anchor up there that I could see within 120 feet.
Okay.
And then I'm going to activate using my bonus action to teleport. But normally I can only teleport within 20 feet. But because of the anchor, I can actually teleport up to that anchor.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. And then, of course, that's my bonus action and action. But once I get up there, can I take a more of a gander look around?
Yep.
On how things are?
I will tell you without even a check that as you look down at this cylinder that you now find yourself on, the glass doesn't necessarily look indestructible or anything. Like if you were to hit it with some good force, you'd probably break it. But you realize as you look at this storm, it's a living, moving entity. And without any kind of check, I'm going to let you know that that's definitely an air elemental in there. And it seems like what the giants are doing is harnessing an air elemental to create a storm barricade.
This is perfect because I would love to talk to him because I can talk to him telepathically.
Okay.
And we don't have to share a language or anything like that. He will understand my message.
Okay.
And I'm going to say to him, are you trapped in here and would you like to be free?
And he can reply back in your language, even if he can't. I don't even know if Elmer.
Well,
that's interesting.
It's he can reply back, but we understand each other. It's not that necessarily we're talking in a language, but we can understand.
Let me just see if I can make this really easy and tell you if he actually speaks languages, and if he does, then he does speak a language. So I'm going to say that he does have an ability to communicate in some way. And basically, what he's giving off is that he definitely would like to escape.
Okay, then I can fix the whole language barrier a little bit better, but that would have to be next turn because I can't.
As the plot thickens there, Craighammer, you're now up. Velsuna is now soaring above the air, and as you look around, these air croaker have started to flood into the room, basically forming from crystals and then animating. One's on you, one's on Drac, one's on Theron, or one was on Theron, and the rest are fucking with the recruits.
Well, I'm bringing the queen down to our level next turn, but now's the time for the setup. So I'm going to cast Enlarge Reduce. Well, I'm going to cast Enlarge on Drac.
Nice.
That'll work.
So now, Drac, you are huge.
Hang on. Before he starts yelling, let me move the headphones away.
Yeah. You are huge now. What that means is your weight and your size are increased by 8. You increase your size by 1 category, so you are now large. And you add 1 more die of weapon damage to your attacks. You have advantage on strength checks and strength saves. Yeah.
Super
so
cool.
yeah, you're gonna hurt more now, a lot more.
He's getting all the buffs, man. All the buffs.
He's our hand-to-hand fighter, of course he is. Okay, so you are enlarged. And yeah, I'll bring her down to our level next turn.
Sounds good. Drac, you are the biggest dwarf to ever dwarf. And you're now up.
All right. I think if she flew 60 feet, I'm pretty sure she's just too far for me to even get to in a turn at this point. So the bird's right next to me still, right? Or this
Yes.
like cloud bird thing.
Yes.
Or ice, sorry, it was ice.
No worries.
Yeah, so I'll just lay into him. He's next to me. And I use bless. So that's 17.
17 is definitely a hit.
Cool. That one's, what is that? 9, 6, 7, 8. 17, and yeah, that one's good too. That one's sober. So 1 second here. 30 damage. All right, so he just wails into him and just punches back. Oh, good, good. His voice has become so much deeper with this enlarged size. As he hits with 3 punches, each one doing 10 damage. So he'll lay the first 2 in.
You absolutely smash this thing in your first punch. Actually, if you probably have movement to go around, smash a couple more.
Yeah. So I would fly to whatever one that I can reach, and then lay into it with the other ones.
I'll say that you smash 3 of them. So you have the roots out.
So flying light kick. Ugh. Oh.
Absolutely.
Slow rumble fills the room.
He does his little Power Ranger like, and then he starts beating stuff.
Exactly. At this point, Valsuna comes up, and as she does so, you see these chunks of ice that were once the Aarakocra on the ground. They start to rumble, and as they do so, they start to slide back up together, and the once shattered Aarakocra now, within an instant, animate back into their form of not shattered Aarakocra. They will attack after this, but first she's going to do her thing, at which point she channels her staff again, and that's going to be a dex save from everybody. As lightning starts to arc across the room in its entirety.
Remember, you get an extra D4.
And you don't want to fail this.
Okay, that's a 19 on my dex save.
19 is definitely a pass.
I got a 17. Hopefully
Definitely
that's
a pass.
Great.
Yeah, 17 also.
Definitely a pass.
The bless though.
So
that blessed baby.
With that half, I'll just half it for you. You guys take, and this is already factored in, 17 damage.
Okay.
Now the Aarakocra will do their things. So actually all 3 at this point are going to go after Drac because he seems to be the badass. So that's a hit, a miss, and a natural 20.
Ooh.
So
where am I at? I think I'm going down.
Only at I rolled 2 1s on my 2 of my dice. So that is wow, that's not too good. 8 damage.
Woo. So Drax is just ripped to shreds, breathing incredibly heavy as blood just drains out of his body, splashing onto the floor below him.
Beautiful. The recruits at this point are going to remember the mission and start to head towards the navigational orb because they just watched the Aarakocras be smashed and then reanimated back, and Valsuna absolutely wrecking them. But actually, before I say that, I forget to make their dex saves, so let's see how many of them get obliterated by this storm. As they start to oh shit, we got to get the navigational orb, lightning everywhere. They start to run across the room. One makes it, and that one fails. So 2 are all right. 1 is on the floor in a lightning mess. Poor Gladius.
No!
Gladius is down. He's maybe not dead, but he's definitely unconscious. Theron, you're now up.
Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and use my channel divinity.
Hey.
Yeah, it's going to be sweet. So I got 30 HP to hand out to anybody who needs it. I can't heal more than half your HP though. So if you're under half, you can get these heals. So tell me how much you need, how much you want, and let's divvy it up.
Yep.
Dude, just give it all to Drac. I'm okay.
I could literally take all 30. I have the room.
Great. Well, they're going all to Drac then. Fantastic. Drac, you're now healed up. I say a prayer, and a beam of light shines down, piercing through the clouds of the castle and shines upon my holy symbol of my shield, which I shine, and I shine that light directly into Drax's eyes, blinding him temporarily for a moment until he's healed up. He gets beefed up. His wounds close. His blood fades away from his skin. He's looking mighty fresh.
And he's also an ogre-sized dwarf.
That's right. He's looking mighty, mighty fresh.
You should give 1 hit point to Gladius just to keep him alive.
Oh, okay. You get 29 HP. Gladius, he's alive.
Gladius, it hurts so bad.
I shine like with my wristwatch that I have on. I shine a tiny bit of the holy light onto Gladius.
Yeah. Make it stop! It hurts.
A little juice pouch of healing.
Got a little juice. Got a little juice for you.
All right, Runic, you're back up as you now sit on top of this encasing that you now discovered is encasing an air elemental.
Okay. You know what? I'm actually gonna RP this. Can I make a history check to see if I know what language air elementals speak?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Instead of just assuming.
Do I know? Like I know what it is in front of me, but I don't know what the heck that means. But I'll tell you with a 22 that he speaks Orin.
It's like bird talk, like giant eagles speak it.
All right.
Is everything
Then
on
in
the
that
plane of
case-
air speaks it?
Yeah.
I'm going to use my bonus action to attune myself to the nomadic mind and give myself basically that language to speak.
Cool.
And then now I can talk to him a bit more
like-
easily.
Yo, dog, what's up? Nice to talk to you. No, I'm just kidding.
Not much, homie G-Funk. What are you doing?
Yeah, he definitely tells you that he's not too keen on. At first, he was thought that he was making an alliance with the Cloud Giants, but he didn't necessarily know that his alliance was to be trapped in this thing and then smoked and harnessed for an air defense. So he'd very much like to get out. Although actually they're okay. Yeah, you're fine. He's just like, yeah, let me the heck out and.
Okay.
We'll be
Well,
homies.
I'm also gonna ask him. Does he know a way to get him out? Like, is there a shut-off switch kind of deal, or?
He tells you to smash this thing or break the chain, and then it'll fall and smash. It's at that point that you hear
okay.
the flutter of the imps, and I actually forgot to do their shit on last turn, so they're gonna just do it right now also. But you get to do your thing still.
Now I'm not discounting the part that they probably can see invisibility, but I didn't necessarily move, so
Yeah.
disrupting the.
I feel you.
Like,
Yeah,
I just teleported, so
it's an advantage. Disadvantage. Yeah, that's actually a very good point.
Okay.
Yeah. How would I roll that? Because they still swing at disadvantage, so I'll do that, and I'll give them a couple minuses. So misses, miss, and Jesus.
Yeah, I hope you don't.
What's your AC?
Because I really don't.
What's your AC again?
My AC at the moment is 14.
So all five
but
of
it
them
can
come
be
at you
changed.
and start swinging. Basically, they just fly around the room with tremendous speed and are whipping around and swinging violently everywhere. Out of the five, only one manages to get through and scrapes you for 3 damage.
Okay, I'm fine with 3.
Yeah.
I will take that any day of the week versus what they're taking in the next, or not next room, but in the other part of the tower. Like, I don't want to be a part of
37
that mess.
damage. You take 3 damage.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and just try to smash this glass
All right,
below me.
go for it.
So I already spent my bonus action to switch over. I just had my action. I'm just trying to make sure that I can get all my ducks in the row, basically. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So do I think I'll make a roll for this if you want, but do I think a short bow would work better or a warhammer would work better in the case of breaking this glass?
You would absolutely know Warhammer.
Okay. Then in that case, hopefully with my pitiful rolls, 15.
Definitely hit it. Go ahead and do some damage.
1.
1 damage. It's lucky for
Not
you
very strong.
that it literally just is glass, although it's giant glass. I'm gonna say that giant glass is, or what's the opposite of resistant? Vulnerable to bludgeoning damage. So you actually hit it for a whopping 2 damage, which I'm gonna say is enough to still shatter it. You hang out the basically there's like a change in moisture almost immediately, and the surrounding storm around the entire sky reach instantly is like sucked out of the sky into this one room, and a massive tornado starts to swirl around as this large air elemental starts to take its form and blazon all of its elementally anger and goodness as it's finally free.
I'm then going to add in, like, if you want on the revenge against the person that entrapped you, or I don't know if it's a she, but I'm going to say it's over there in that tower. And I'm going to point towards the navigation and tower. And
it bursts through the door. And it's at that point that as it does so, it is greeted by some friends that are the form of 7 cloud giants and 1 air imp that ran away and decided to rat you out. The air elemental slams into these giants, but still the giants are larger than this creature, although it's comparable. It's going to whirlwind one and send it flying off of Skyreach. Awesome. But you now have 6 cloud giants with you to contend with.
Hey, I'm 80 feet up in the air. I know giants are tall, but I don't think they're that tall.
It's true.
So,
Craighammer, you're up next, unless you have anything else, Chester.
I spent everything I could spend. So,
gotcha. Go ahead, Craighammer.
Okay. Well, we aren't doing anything to this giantess until we bring her down. So I cast the spell magic.
Hey. And fly is that works on a level
3rd level spell, right?
So it instantly gives way.
Yep. Cancels, baby. Hey. Yep. So how high up was she?
60 feet.
That means she takes 6d6 falling damage.
We'll say that she does, unless I can find a. Hold on, I'm checking her spell list. I don't think she has anything that can stop that. Oh wait, is that a reaction? No, it definitely wouldn't be a reaction. All right, you're fine. Go ahead.
I'll roll for her.
But I'm not in there. Does she have counterspell by any chance?
No, actually.
I don't think cloud giants do they?
This is a special cloud giant. She's like a sorceress cloud giant, but she don't have it. I don't like giving my monsters counterspell ever unless I'm absolutely trying to be a dick.
Okay, well she takes 19 points of falling damage.
Nice, 19.
Yeah.
All right.
She is now at your reach, Drac. Mess her up, son.
She is, and Drac is now up. But now surrounded by 3 of these Air Krokra entities. She is. I'll say she's a movement away, but now you're faced with the decision of taking 3 opportunity attacks.
I'm gonna have to Dude, I don't know, man.
Dude, they do like 3 points of damage.
You don't. They could crit.
Well, the thing is, if they hit, I think that stops your movement, right?
No, you keep going.
Oh, do you?
Only if they have the Sentinel feat.
Okay.
All right. Drax going ham, I guess, and just taking the opportunity attacks.
All right, let me see if any of them hit. I literally crit on one of them.
Fucking told you, man.
Dude, he's cheating. I call bluffs.
You call bluffs, and the other one hits too. So you take a total of 17 damage.
Oh my god.
Okay, well that's actually a pretty expensive crit compared to 8 points before. I think that's a.
Only I just disengaged.
Turns out when the DM doesn't roll 1s on the damage, it does a little more damage than it might have
seem like it did. Once your turn.
All right. So I'm just rolling in there with. Actually, I'm gonna use my channel divinity.
Is she prone from falling?
Let me give her a check. Actually, heck, I'll just say yeah.
Okay,
hey, an advantage boy, worth it.
All right, here we go. So we get that.
Get that extra 1d4 on your attacks.
Oh yeah, that's right. What was the AC I'm trying to beat?
I will say that she is going to, just because I don't want to cheese you, she's going to shield. So right now, you want to beat 20.
Okay. All three make it.
Nice. Impressive.
Extra damage for being big. Extra damage dice on each one.
Yeah.
6. All right. So that is. Oh no. 6, 10, 19. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw a smite in here too.
Oh shit.
19, 26, 31. As he just starts over top of her, just the 31 damage.
Beautiful. That is already more damage than that's been done to her all turn. So
Does that break your concentration on the Aarakocra?
you would. I don't know if you would notice it, but she doesn't have any concentration on it. Doesn't seem to be what is necessarily controlling it.
No.
All right.
Use the navigation stone.
She is now up, and she does not like being punched in the face or dropped to the ground. She says, "You dare assault a queen of the storms?" To which
We do.
What does she want to do? What does this do? Yeah, this is what I'm going.
I'll tell you what she wants to do. She wants to do nothing. She's gonna watch.
Oh no, she's like, I'll just take a chance to see what's going down this turn.
She starts to channel the spell that is basically making the clouds above you storm and crackle lightning, but you start to see that the clouds themselves start to descend down and now are completely around you guys. And you're going to have to make a dex save right now, or actually at the start of your turn. Sorry.
Get that blessed, boys.
Yeah. All right, so we'll do that. And then with her other thing, she is going to, from the staff itself, wind it up and swing it at you, Drac. And this ain't going to feel the best if it hits. We'll be honest with you. 28 to hit. Assuming it does so, unless anyone wants to
Yes, it does.
pull some shenanigans on me.
Wait, what are you at, Drac? What hit points?
15.
Oh, you're so going to die.
I will give her disadvantage on that attack.
All right, good luck. She has a plus 12. I'll tell you now that it's in it. Whew! I rolled a nat 20, so she only gets a 22 instead.
Okay. Well, I did what I could.
How many crits have you rolled this game, Chris?
I will look it up after, but a disgusting amount. I swear I'm actually rolling these crits. I literally don't like killing my players, but I'm rolling a disgusting amount of crits. So you take a total of 22 damage. As you're knocked unconscious, the staff hits you and erupts your entire body in lightning. You just kind of and then shot across the floor. You hear it as your body skids across this icy floor.
Oh, God.
Okay, so he's dead, but he's not dead.
Yeah,
Any amount of like healing that brings him above.
I'm unconscious. Yeah.
Any healing will bring him back, basically.
Great.
That puts the Aarakocras up, which are going to attack you, Craig and Drac, or not Drac, sorry, Theron. Both are misses. The other 3 are going for the recruits, are now heading up towards the navigational orb. Only one hits, which downs Gladius again. I'm going to say that's who it attacks. The one hit, he's just begging to be put out of mercy. Aarakocra comes and like stabs him with his icy wing fangs. It's at that point that the recruits, 2 of them, get towards the navigational orb, and they're a distance away. But I'm going to throw this to you, Ty. The Skyfallen dwarfs have a special piece of equipment, a demolition piece of equipment that is perfect for this exact scenario. What do they have to use to shoot at this navigational orb?
So they're trying to destroy the orb right now, basically?
Yes, and they have something that is like a specialized piece of equipment that is suited for this purpose.
So this is actually a variation of a weapon that the ground dwarves, the mountain dwarves, are created. So they call theirs the boomstick, but we call ours the doomstick. And what it is it's essentially like, you know, like when you go to like like a basketball game, like they get the big slingshot and they put something in it, and they launch it up.
Yep.
So what it is it's a glass ball, but inside the ball is a little stone. And so when it reaches terminal velocity, the stone hits the inside of the ball and makes it explode in a magical explosion. So they two of them set up and grab it, and the other one grabs it, pulls it back, and launches it like at one of these games. And when the stone hits, it explodes in an arcane explosion.
And it hits it. And as it does so, this explosion completely engulfs the room. You look at the sphere as the dust starts to settle, and it's still sitting there, seemingly untouched. But then a moment passes, and you hear a and you see a splinter, a crack, go across this navigational orb. And then another as it starts to spike out and spider across the entire glass, at which point the orb itself shatters. There's that moment of what's going to happen for a second, and then you feel it. That shift in gravity as the castle itself starts to groan, and you feel yourself start to slide across the floor as it slowly, to add more chaos to this, starts to descend. Now, on the recruit's turn, they have to make their saves against this lightning, which I completely forgot about, so I'm not going to undo that, but they're going to save, and the 2 pass, so they only take half this damage. It's going to be nasty nonetheless. Good. They're barely alive now as they're in the storm cloud. You see the storm itself that was once above you is now floor level with you, and they just take bolts of lightning. It's basically like a version of Cloud Kill, only instead of a stinky cloud of poison, it is a cloud of lightning that on the start of each your turn is going to try to attack you. Theron, make a dex save as on the start of your turn, a bolt of lightning streaks towards you, and you start to fall towards the walls now as the castle starts to plummet. You know, I just thought this encounter was going too easy for you guys. You're on mute, Theron.
That was 1 or 2 deck saves.
1 deck save.
Okay, great. Well, I got a 19 on that one.
You pass, so you only take half the damage.
Oh, what's half the damage?
Half the damage is 1, 2, 3. That's too many dice, so I'm going to take away the highest one.
Oh, no.
And that is half the damage, 15.
Okay, great. That's a lot of damage. Cool. Very cool. Great. So Theron is looking pretty dead right now. About how much negative are you? Or sorry, no, not Theron, but Drax. Drax, you're looking pretty dead. How dead are you? You're
unconscious. There's no like levels of deadness. He's just unconscious right now, and he makes death saves. If he fails 3 death saves, he's dead.
All right. Well, he's gonna get another full channel divinity of 30 HP.
There you go.
And 1 for Gladius.
Nice.
29. Sorry.
29. Gladius is back again.
Gladius is back with a vengeance, boys.
All right. Beautiful. Next up, Runic, as you two feel the shift of gravity, you see that the cloud giants before you momentarily have to make their saves to not fall and be swept out. One does fly by you, but grab onto the ledge while the others kind of position themselves in like almost this kind of crab-like position. And then as they get their footing, they start to get up, and they look like they're going to swing at you. A couple engage with the air elemental, but that still leaves 4 of them for you. And as they come in with their morning stars and different weapons that they're carrying, or you're still in the building actually, so I'm completely making this up. Yeah.
I'm 8 feet up in the air. I was gonna ask you like
Not
how
far.
like they could throw stuff at me. That's fine, but
yeah, you're still invisible too actually, so I don't even think they see you. Nonetheless, you're basically, I guess at this point you would hear what's going on, and they confidently are talking about how they have to go in there and deal with this. But then you hear a change in their demeanor, and then you hear the ferocious roar of a creature that echoes across the sky, and then the flap of a very powerful wing. Your turn's now up.
awesome. Is there you said that the smoke from this air elemental was going up through like chimneys going outside.
Yes.
Well, now that I'm hanging up there, can I look and see, like, can I see outside?
Yes.
From where
you can climb up this chain, and with unless you have some fancy movement, you'll need a dash to get all the way out.
How far is it?
We'll say probably around 60.
Okay, I could probably teleport. If I can find one that will work. I really hate to do that again, but I could because I got the points left. I will actually kind of cheese it a little bit and do the nomadic anchor again up above. And then just teleport up there. So it's within 120 feet. So
you're now out, and as you look high above on this tower, you do see that the giants are engaged with the air elemental, and that as you look around, you see Clarion starting to descend upon the castle. He's about a turn away from being where you are. And as you also look, you notice that the castle is on a rather weird angle, and you actually have to kind of like hold on as it's quickly starting to Titanic sink, and within very shortly, it's going to get really awkward in here.
Okay, when the dragon gets within 120 feet of me, I'm going to telepathically send him a message saying, over here.
It's already there, so it hears you and starts to home in on you.
Awesome. So I'm going to get picked up and hopefully rescue my other comrades here pretty soon.
Yep. You hear him reply, jump.
Awesome. And I will jump next turn around. I would still have movement this turn, but I don't think he's there enough to receive me, so I will jump next turn.
Craighammer, you're now up. This is probably your last turn of having normal movement, but you had to make a dex save to see how badly you get mucked up by lightning.
So I already rolled. I got a 19 playing on the dice with the +3 from the bless, so 22.
So you take a total of half of that, 12 damage.
Okay. Well, knowing that we completed our objectives, he knows that we can get out now. But he also knows that Velsuna is going to come back if she's not dealt with too.
Oh.
So Crag is going to cast Enlarge Reduce on himself, and I'm going to grapple her and keep her here.
Is that a concentration?
Because Enlarge Reduce, yes, it's concentration.
So Drac goes back to normal size, Craighammer goes back to other. All right.
Yeah.
Let's do a Velsuna grapple check. You're trying to grapple a giant, so they are definitely strong, but we'll see how it goes. You got to beat a 27.
How does a nat 20 sound, baby?
Pretty good to me. What does that actually? Well, whatever. I'll just give it to you. I'll say that you do it.
Crag, he the way this enlarge works on himself is he changes his past if he'd been born with giant blood.
Yep.
So he becomes this hulking dwarf, and he grabs, as he runs forward, he grabs Drac and throws him back across the room towards the stairs, and he leaps forward and tackles her and pins her against the wall. And when he was a young dwarf, he learned wrestling. That was his passion. And so he slips an arm underneath hers and puts her in an arm lock, and then wraps the other one around the back of her neck and bends her over his knee. And he's holding her like that. He's holding her hand so she can't use any somatic components, and holding her head down so she can't speak any verbal components. And he looks back at the group, and he says, someone needs to hold her. And it's deep voice now. He says, I play with fate. Go. I have the best chance of living.
And I say, all right, man, we'll catch you with the revive later.
Jack, you're now up.
Oh, man. I can't let you do that.
I'm going to intimidate Drac. Now with my huge forearm, I'm going to scream at him.
All right.
I just scream, go!
Intimidate.
And that is a 17 plus 4, 21.
You can do a check against that if you want.
Oh, wait, I have charisma too. So let me hear and figure out what my other addition is. And I have intimidation.
Technically, it's up to you regardless, Drac, because he can't technically scare you out of it. But if you want to roll against it, that's cool too.
So 26.
It's up to you. 26 is pretty intimidating.
I guess I'll just listen to him. As Drac kind of like sees him and he's making this choice, he assumes that like him, he's got a plan. Like he can't possibly be just throwing his life away like that. And so he yells to the rest of the group, "Come on, we need to get out of here." Does it look like I can like go and like grab anybody? Like, does anyone like need help getting out of here?
Gladys looks like he's in rough shape.
Gladius needs some help.
All right, so I'm gonna use lay on hands on myself to give myself more health.
Now, I will remind you that there is some Aarakocra entities still around. So a couple of them are on Gladys, or one's on Gladys. I believe one's still around you. So
yeah, so I just use my lay on hands, heal myself up, and then I start running through the air towards Gladius. I'll take the opportunity attacks. And I'm gonna grab him.
Now, where Gladius is, although he hasn't started, he's starting to slowly slide. So it's going to be basically difficult terrain to run that way. So it's going to use up a bulk of your movement. You can still get to him.
I mean, I've got wing boots of flying. I'm just
you're
running
fine.
25 feet towards him. 25 feet. Or if it's further, I'll dash.
No, you're fine. Only I forgot about the flying boots. That makes moving around pretty easy for you. Only 5 damage.
Dope.
All right. Velsuna's up. You have her in this headlock, and I got to check something here.
Is there an actual grappling thing called pinned? I feel like there is.
There is if you have a feat, you can restrain. So what I'll do is you have her grappled, and as you're kind of struggling around, she looks at you and smiles, which I'm going to say that you absolutely could have stopped her from using her hand, but you're not going to be able to stop her from using her hands and speaking. So she chants something arcanic at you, at which point you feel her completely disappear from your grip. Poof. She's gone. And then you feel a presence behind you, to which you feel a hand lay on your shoulder as you see mist below your feet start to form. What you feel on you is the cold, but at the same time, strangely warm glow of her staff. And as you look behind, you see that it's arcing this powerful lightning in it. And she's going to attack you. She basically has a Misty Step. So she Misty Stepped out of your grapple and then is now behind you. She's going to try to hit you with her lightning staff.
Okay.
And 28 to hit.
I can also cast a spell as a reaction because of my Warcaster.
Okay.
And I'm casting Hold Person.
Casting Hold Person. Now's as good time as ever. Wisdom save. Let's see. Actually, I already.
And I'll use my last imposed disadvantage on her.
All right.
You do realize that she still has, I think, 1 or 2 resistances.
I know.
Resistances.
Yeah.
She's gonna break your heart and use that up real quick.
Yeah, I figured as much. I just figure I need to get her to burn through the rest of them if I'm actually going to keep her here.
Yeah, that's true. To which she still can hit, so you didn't apply a disadvantage on her attack, right?
No.
All right, so she hits you. This is going to do 25 damage.
I'm still good.
All right, the dwarves, the recruits, they're going to start getting ready to book it.
Woo, nat 20 concentration, baby.
Theron, you're up. Craig Hammers tells you to go. He's got this.
All right, so I'm going to be like, I was pretty convinced with the headlock, but I'm not so convinced now that she's turned to mist. I'm going to see if there's anything I can do here. I mean, he's got the bless. He's got, but she's a giant, right? She's not any sort of aberration or thing like that. No, okay.
She's just a giant.
Dang. Well, let's see. Let's see. Let me do that good old-fashioned, handy-dandy. I'm going to use a bonus action to cast Sanctuary.
All right.
Which lasts for 1 minute. And it basically means that whenever the target is attacked, the person attacking has to make a wisdom save or else the attack fails.
Yep.
So that lasts for a minute on you, Magic Man, and then I'm out. I'm booking it using a full withdraw.
Gotcha.
So there's my move. And I say, good luck.
Good luck. Sanctuary. Peace. Bust
Peace.
out the window. As he does so, he starts heading towards the staircase, I'm assuming.
Yes.
All right. Runic.
Or is there a window closer?
There's windows definitely closer.
Are they glass?
Yes, stained glass, we'll say.
I bust through.
All right. You bust, like you're just straight on jumping, because if you do that, you're like jumping into like straight air, basically.
Oh, yeah, that's
Which
a bad
is
idea.
all right.
Okay.
I support
right,
that yellow kind of strats, but
Right, that's a risky strategy. All right, I'm not all about that life if it's me on the line. So I'm gonna run over to the window. I'm just gonna bust it open.
all right.
Be like, this way.
You do see, basically, you're overlooking, and you see that 7 cloud giants are engulfed with what looks like a tornado. And very, very faintly, I'll just say that you can make out what looks like your friend Runic. And it's at the top of the initiative at this point that we hit complete 180 of the castle. And we're now basically in a complete free fall. So you have 2 choices to make a save and basically hang on for dear life, which will then give you a climb speed. Or you just let go and see what happens. And that's Runic first.
I choose neither, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to do the nomadic anchor again, but I'm going to put it on the dragon.
All right.
And then I'm going to teleport to the dragon.
All right. You are on Clarion. He just kind of poof, and then you hear him like basically telepathically speaking, like, how the hell did you get here? But good, where's your friends?
And I'm going to tell him, actually, can I do a perception check to see if I could see the
Yes.
glass being shattered out to?
Yes.
Awesome.
The tip of the tower is also now breaking off under the weight of basically the building going 180. You do see the
How about a
broken
17?
window, and you see
Yes.
Theron looking at you.
Awesome. Then I'm going to say they're over there, and I'm going to point. Of course, me being on his back's not going to help, but hopefully give him direction on where to go.
He starts to zoom in that direction. Craighammer, you're now up. It's a 1v1 showdown between you and Svelsuna.
Here we go, baby. Okay. So I've got the Bless. I've got Sanctuary.
Also, you're faced with the same decision of now being completely almost vertical. So you got to either let go and free fall or try to make a save and hang on for dear life.
Or, and she's like above me now because we're like falling basically.
She's going to start falling on her turn too.
Oh, okay. I'm actually going to use a bonus action and Misty step behind her.
All right.
And I'm going to put her in a chokehold, and I'm going to straight up John Cena her into the ground below us. So she's not going to be able to speak because I'm chokeholding her. So she can't teleport again.
All right.
This is going to be like I'm counterspelling your counterspell, and then I'm going to counter that counterspell, and that's what this is turning into with the Misty Steps.
Okay,
right.
so I guess grapple check, and I have advantage for teleporting behind her?
Yes, but you got to beat a nat 20.
I got to beat a nat 20?
Yeah.
Oh,
not even kidding.
Okay.
Share this so you guys don't
You got that bless, though. Just remember that bless.
Gods of the dice, please.
Look at that nat 20 rate on my roll track. 28.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, I nat 20'd with her.
Okay. So who has
So
the
what does
higher
that
modifier then at this point?
Oh, I also have...
You have bless.
I got Bless. I rolled a 4 on the Bless.
Okay.
And I'm also... let me see. So I've got advantage on all strength checks also to begin with.
Okay.
Can I, my double advantage, beat her nat 20 with a nat 20 also?
Do you have the higher initiative or the higher? Are you proficient with strength?
Yeah, I'm proficient. I'm proficient with athletics.
So what's your modifier at this point? She has a
So
28.
that would put me at a 30.
Yeah, so you beat her then.
I beat her?
Yeah. Not 20s actually mean nothing in skill checks.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I teleport behind her, and one hand slips beneath her throat, and the other hand just comes up, and I just grab my bicep. And I aim her towards the ground. I'm on her back, and so I don't want her speaking at all, so she can't teleport again. I just want to slam her into the ground when it's her turn.
All right.
Oh my gosh, this is turning into like WWE SmackDown.
Jack, it's your turn. Same thing, free fall or save to hang on for dear life.
I'm just sliding down through the air like a badass.
Yep.
Falling with the castle right now, but controlled falling.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use my action to try and cast Hold Person on Velsuna.
Oh, damn.
My DC is only 12.
All right.
I'm just trying it.
Oh, my God. I actually failed it, so I have to use my stupid last resistance. So there goes all your resistances. Now she's done for.
So I wreathe her in light as she just like shakes it off while she's still grasped in this John Cena RKO chokehold.
You, by the end of your turn, are basically going to be moments away from being flung out of the building. Also, as you guys look above, with the tower starting to fall, the weight of the tower on the pressure, you hear that the entire tip of this thing is starting to crack off and fall. And it rips the tower itself right open, and you see into basically the clear blue sky. And as you're starting to do so, you see that the tower itself is starting to completely turn. And what was once the sky is now quickly starting to turn into a side of a mountain. And then the side of the mountain quickly starts to fade into the ground as this thing is like completely starting to plummet. Valsuna's turn. So what did you have, Tyler? You said
So if she starts falling on her turn, I'm on top of her. I want to make her slam into the ground at terminal velocity with my weight on top of her.
I gotta look something up. I think I can probably cheese you again.
No, dude, come on.
I think I can. I don't want to cheat you if it's not real. But let me see.
She can't use any verbal components.
Okay, I'll let you guys as a group tell me, because I don't want to work this up. If you think this is fair, she has the innate ability to cast gaseous form.
I mean, that makes sense. There's no vocal component. She would literally turn into dust in her hands.
Yeah, as an action, she can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I would see her doing it like right before she would hit the ground. She would turn into gaseous form, making him
exactly
slam
what's going
into
to happen.
the ground.
She's going to jump, at which point fully embrace the free fall. And as you guys start to soar through this tower, coming up towards where the glass window is, she's going to look at you once more and say, "Nice try," and smile, and then her body gives away to gaseous mist, to which you try to choke and grab onto, but you're getting onto nothing, and you free fall, smash through the window.
Wait, but gaseous form requires verbal, somatic, and material.
But it's an
innate
spell.
ability.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily a spell.
So
she can eschew components. She doesn't need any of the components.
Yeah.
She is the component.
I could rules lawyer at this point and look it up, like what innate casting means, but I feel like
it's fine. It's fine.
I feel like you're good with that.
Oh, gosh dang it.
So now you're free falling as you blast through the window. Next up is Theron.
All right. Well, it's me. I'm at the window. I assume that the whole place is falling right now.
Yeah, you are basically now running the opposite of parallel with the ground. So you're basically at 90 degree with the ground below.
Right. So, okay. I'm looking out the window, right? So
yeah, if you don't do something really special right now, you're going to fly out the window.
Great. Well, that's what I want, essentially. But as I'm flying out the window, quick question to everybody else. Is anybody want a little heal before I leave? I know Tyler wanted a little heal. Drax, you could probably use one.
Nah, man, it's pointless now. I can't do anything to her.
He's beat.
There's still hope, Tyler. I've got one more ace.
Well, I think everyone. Okay. So Drax has a plan. All right. Drax has a plan. So Tyler, you want that heal or not?
If Drax has a plan, then sure, go ahead and give it to me.
All right. Let's see.
I got him beat. His OP character is defeated.
All right. Well, so she's in gaseous form, but I can still hit her, right?
Yep, definitely.
Okay. So Drax, do you want heals more, or do you want a bunch of damage on her more? Or yeah.
I believe she's resistant to most type of damage. I'll look that up. But
What about radiant?
Wait, maybe I won't have a plan. Let's see.
No plan.
I don't know if I have a plan or not.
the plan is gone.
I just need to see what the words of gaseous form are.
Put her in a jar.
Put her in a jar. All right, I'll make you decide right now, Theron. Heal or damage?
All right. I'll go ahead
You
and
can
go.
try and break concentration on her too.
You know what? I'm feeling it. Let's do the damage. I'm casting a level 3 guiding bolt,
All right.
which should deal a bit of damage.
It should, in theory. Let me see. The target can enter. Blah blah blah.
I don't think there's any save. I don't think I have to make an attack. I just deal the damage.
No, you have to
Guiding
roll.
bolt is an attack roll.
Yeah, you got to attack roll.
Yeah,
But it's she doesn't have resistance to it unless she already does, I think.
Correct.
Right. So radiant damage, no resistance.
Correct.
Okay, great. So that's going to be, let's see, make a ranged spell attack. My spell modifier is plus.
She's out of shields also, so she can't boost her AC.
Great. Okay, great. All right, let's do this. Leroy Jenkins. All right, we got that D20. Great. We got that 21. That's
a hit.
Fantastic. Okay, great.
A gross con save.
This should be fun. Where's my good old-fashioned spell book? Great. So, okay, 46 plus 1d6 for each level above first. So that is a third level, which means it should be 66.
Whew.
Yeah. I got a couple spells that do a bit of damage, but they takes a bit. All right, roll it. Oh, baby. We got that 29, though.
29 damage.
That's right.
Now, she is not dead, but that's going to be a pretty gross con save because if I remember con, it is either 10 or whatever is more. So I think
10 or half of the damage taken, whichever's higher. So it would be like a 15.
So she's going to make a 15 constitution save, and she has I'll just tell you straight up, a +6 to her con. So good luck. Let's see what the dice say.
Possible.
Fail.
18 plus 6.
Can we fail it? Do we have a way? Do we have a way to make her fail?
Does Tyler have any more of his OP stone
No, man.
things?
I don't got any more of my seer stone.
All right. Now
Dang
she
it.
succeeds it.
All right, so here's what happens.
You can still hit her.
So as I hear Tyler's character's pleas for healing, I turn around with a gleam in my eye, a glint, as I raise not the shield, but the axe. And the holy light descends upon it, and I blast her as I blast myself with the power of the spell out the window. And I go, "See, what I want to be." And that's my turn.
Beautiful. Runic riding the adult dragon. You see Theron fly out the window. I believe Drax basically pretty much out the window at this point too, but he has flying boots. And Craighammer also flying into free fall. Sad and defeated.
Who's the dragon going after?
The dragon is just heading towards where Theron is because that's where you told him to go. But they're all basically falling in the same vicinity.
Okay. When I think I'm going to basically hold my action until I get within what is it? Actually, no. I'm going to do when I get within 60 feet of one of the allies, I'm going to say I forgot his name. Our wizard.
Craigham?
Well, he's got. Yeah, I'm going to say the wizard because I'm going to tell the dragon to actually go after Theron. Okay. And then I'm going to basically do transposition. What that means is we're going to teleport, but we're going to swap places. But because I have the nomadic anchor on the dragon, I go to the anchor, which just moves me over just a little bit, and he is teleported to where I was. So he's now on the dragon.
Nice.
And the dragon's going to go hopefully get Theron, and then our other guy can fly himself. So that's
I like that.
hopefully the game plan.
So we got what is that? 2 people on the dragon now? Runic and Theron?
Yes.
All right.
No,
Craig
not
Hammer.
Theron's being rescued by the dragon, and I was doing
Okay, got you. Good one.
Craig Hammer.
All right. So you're just gonna jump like straight up in the air then? Or do you have like some ability to fly?
Me?
No.
No, I don't. No, what happened was
falling.
I'm teleporting. I'm teleporting to the anchor, which was on the dragon, and he is being teleported on top of the dragon as well. So that means we're both on the dragon, and
A
the
whole lot of
dragon's going after
teleporting
Theron.
going on here, but I'm okay with it. We'll say that you 3 are on the dragon. That
Awesome.
leaves
Okay.
Drac with his wing boots, and Velsuna still in misty form. I'll say that at least you can make her out, but you know very soon that if she can just hover her way into the clouds or whatever, it's going to be hard to make her out between that and a cloud. You got any tricks up your sleeve, Mr. Paladin?
Oh man. So where are the other recruits that were at? Because there's 3 that were in this room with us, right?
Yeah, they've jumped out and they're in a free fall now too at this point. So
Okay.
they're gonna need some saving for sure.
Oh fuck. Oh, you can go before me. I would actually prefer that.
Yeah.
You gonna hold your action?
No, you skipped Craig Hammer.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
it's
sorry.
Crag before me.
Yeah, that's my bad. Go ahead,
I
Craig.
love how I became Craghammer throughout the course of this game.
What is your
That's
name?
What it says.
It's Cragham.
Cragham. Yeah, sorry,
Oh.
that's my bad.
Cragham.
Yeah, in the combat tracker, he has you as Craig Hammer Stoneseer. So
Yeah, that's my fault.
Oh, am I really? Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Let me see. So when she's in gaseous form, she can't move herself around, can she?
She can move very slowly.
Yeah, it's 10 feet. The only thing I have left is basically my channel divinity, where I can get advantage on her, or I can frighten her. But that's
I guess all I can really do is try and break her concentration.
Break it.
So I'll throw a chromatic orb at her.
All right.
So that's a ranged spell attack. Oh, dang, so close to a nat 20. Okay, 19. That's a 27.
That's definitely a hit.
And I believe chromatic orb is 2d8, 3d8.
3d8, I believe.
Yep. 7, 6, 13, plus 7, so 20 points of damage. And I'll just make it fire.
All right. Now she has to make a con save.
Which would be a con save 10, so I don't know what her chances are in failing that, but...
Pretty not good. But 19 she made.
That one. Oh, okay. All right, well, that's all I got.
All right. 20 more damage on her, though. Jack, you're now up.
Gosh.
I can save us next turn if we're getting close to the ground.
Yeah, I don't know how much more we're falling. I'm like keeping my eye out to get out of here, but I'm gonna go ahead and use my Vow of Enmity and attack her twice with advantage.
All right, go ahead.
Oh lordy. The bless is over with, right? Maybe, I don't know.
I don't think so. It
I
hasn't
still
been
have
10
my
rounds.
concentration up. So
Yeah.
as long as I take a damage that would break it. we're
Oh
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Plus 6. Well, 17, is that too low?
To hit, no, that's fine.
Dope. So both of them hit. And I'm gonna go ahead and use my last smite here.
Oh, snap. This will do some damage.
Not a lot.
And you're still big too, right? So you get the extra damage die?
No, the con is off on that one.
Ah.
So I did
Cragham.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 11 normal damage. So I guess that's reduced to 5, and then 11 damage from the smite.
All right, so total of 16 damage.
Yeah, so 16 damage.
All right, puts her over bloodied, but we'll see if she makes her con save. She still has a very good chance of
And then I'm
making
gonna move a little back towards safety, toward the window to dip.
She made her con save. She rolled 24 plus or 18 plus modifiers.
Well, you don't technically have to move to the window because he did say that the tower crumbled and
Yeah,
it's basically open air. So
I would say at this point that you're in pretty much open air.
Oh, dope. So I'm just chilling then.
Yeah, just flying. All right. So on her turn, I will ask you guys this then. It's 3 a.m. This is probably when I wanted to shut down. Now, Velsuna very much wants to kill you guys. So I don't necessarily want her to run away and escape. But it's 3 a.m., so I'm also good with her escaping, and we're just saying that she lives to fight another day.
I honestly
Unless there's
think she would.
Yeah.
Because her tower's destroyed. She lost her weather control device. And that's not good. Like, she needs to save face. At least save something. And so, like, her trying to kill us, she may succeed. But not without a great cost to her. She may lose everything that she's built up here.
Yep.
So,
yeah,
I think she would try to save whatever she can.
And unless I don't think unless somebody has something they've been holding out on, I don't think that we have any way to contain her. Should she actually want to get away, right?
All I can say is dragon breath.
Yeah, you got a big, powerful. That's another thing. Yeah, she probably would eventually try to run away if you guys have an adult dragon on your side. Now that I think about it. So
yeah,
you
watch also an air elemental coming after her. Like it's still there.
Yeah, I'm cool. We can wrap that.
Could I send one more one more guiding bolt at her as she runs away? Like just one more. Just give me a shot.
We'll say that. We'll say that absolutely. And as you're rolling that, we'll say that you slowly watch the Skyreach Castle, which was the impenetrable military cloud giant fortress. The Skyfallen dwarves managed to impregnate this unreachable fortress and not only do some significant damage to the cloud giants, but crash the entire castle. And you watch it as it falls down and hits the ground, and all of it starts to crumble. All of the beautiful structure and architect, all of the weapons, everything that the cloud giants had in here, all destroyed. But as you look around, you see a gaseous form of Velsuna just almost out of distance. And we'll give one more blast to...
All right. So with my final blast, as I see her kind of fading into the distance, I got a unnat 20 with the dice.
Nice. Obviously a hit.
And that's good. And then I deal for damage. I deal a 23.
23 damage?
Yep. I just send it right there to her. I'm just like, This is one for the road.
You realize that if I roll this con save, this is going to be the one that she fails, and then we're going to start fighting. Let's see what happens. Oh my god, what do I have to make? What was it, 23? 23, half of 23 is
11.
11.
12.
Okay.
12 rounded up.
I rolled a 13, so she makes it.
Barely. She got away with the tail between her legs.
She did. And she got away with, you said 23 damage?
Yeah.
So she was...
I'm sorry, 23 damage.
She was less than 40 HP too, so you guys were pretty close to killing her. But you succeeded in the mission, although you didn't necessarily take down their commander. So the Queen of Storms still has a chance to reign over Faerun, and it is very likely that she will head back with anger to her sister, Countess Sanzuri, who looks to become Queen of all giants. She will definitely tell the tale of these Skyfallen dwarves, and vengeance will definitely be brought to the small folk.
Oh no.
We'll end it there as you watch Skyreach crumble.
Yes.
Good game, everybody.
We
You
did.
survived.
None of it died. Well, actually, one person died temporarily.
Yeah.
Just a temporary setback.
Yeah, you guys actually were much tankier than I thought.
No, Recruitius died.
Yeah,
Recruitius
Recruitius
died.
got pummeled round 1 of initiative. But anyways,
Well, honest. Okay,
that was a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
fun. We'll do our outro. So we actually haven't had really any time to even introduce players, so I apologize for that. I know Ty has a channel, so we'll start with Ty, and if you want to plug yourself, go ahead and we'll pass it along before we have a little outro here.
Yeah, so I'm Tyler from the channel On a Roll. It's a fun game playing Skyfall and Dwarves. She just had more spells than me.
She did.
But yeah, no, tons of fun. Enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see where Storm King's Thunder goes after this.
Cool. We'll hit it up with Corey next. I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything to plug. Just thanks for DMing, man. I know it's super late, but that was an awesome game. I really appreciated it.
Cool, man. You're a lot of fun to have. That was great fun. Good job. Go ahead, Chester.
Yeah, I don't have anything to plug either, but like everyone else said, great game. Had lots of fun. I enjoyed everyone's character.
Yep. What about you, Jacob?
You know what? I want to plug this group. Awesome DMing. It was fun to play, fun to watch,
Hey.
and yeah.
That was. Go ahead.
I'll be here with the heels, and I'll be here with the guiding bolts whenever you need. This guy.
Life cleric for life, yo.
That life claim for life, bro.
Yeah, thank you guys for playing. I think that was my first chance playing with Jacob. Obviously, I know Chester and Ty, and I think I've had the chance to play with you once before, Corey, but everyone was an absolute pleasure to play with. Thanks a lot. You guys made running the game a lot easy, and you made running the game very easy, so thank you, and sorry that Valsuna got away, but hey, that'll be for my actual PCs and my campaign to deal with. So until next time, guys. Cheers.